We're live. What's going on, guys? How we doing, YouTube? Back again here with 53rd episode of the show, Detox Podcast. My guests, plural possibly, will be here in a couple minutes. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in last week and who's been tuning in. This whole time we've done the show, we've had one successful year to this point, and I'm really excited to bring you guys some more content and hopefully even more and better exciting guests. I've already got 2 months booked up for you guys, so we should be getting some good stuff. I want to give you guys your bang for your buck. Now, that being said, before we get started with the show, I actually want to talk to you guys a little bit about car insurance. That's right, man. These days, it seems as if we're able to do more and more from home. So while you're at home, why aren't you saving money on car insurance? Your hometown agency, Kenosha Auto Insurance, has specialized for years in simple, hassle-free insurance using the latest in touch-free technology to help you get the best rates for you and your family. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 262-448-4141. That's 448-4141. The website on the screen right now is kenoshains.com. One more time, that's 262-448-4141. And I only reason I say it as many times as I do is because the podcast is moving to Spotify. So we're still gonna be live here every week on YouTube, but the podcast is also going to be available here on Spotify in the next week or so. So I'm not sure. I was working out the distribution details today and a little bit yesterday, as well as last week, and it looks like it might be a couple days delay. So every time we do an episode, it might be 2 or 3 days later that the podcast will go up on Spotify, Apple Music. But I will keep you guys updated, and we'll figure it out after this week, I guess. So I know we had gotten some comments last week about the show. A lot of people were really excited to see everybody. Certain people come back. Certain people get their awards, and yeah, it was a fun time. We enjoyed putting on the show. It was something we've been wanting to do for a while, as I've talked about a lot here on the show, and we're gonna do it again next year. Hopefully, we won't be doing it necessarily on the set here, or maybe the set will be moved, but. Yeah, so I'm just thankful you guys all tuned in. Thankful for everybody who showed up. Really appreciate all of that. Also, if you guys would be so kind as to let me know how you guys are doing, because I'm always curious, always wondering, and my guests should be here in a couple minutes here. I don't want to introduce them until we get into that, but we will just wait. I think they're here right now, actually. I think that's them. But yeah, let me know how you guys are doing in the comments. McKenna Stanek says hi. How you doing, McKenna? What's up? She's here right now. She's trolling me in the studio. I also want to know, who are your guys' top picks for some guests or some people you want to see either come back on the show or come on the show for the first time? Because like I said, I got 2 months booked up to this point, counting this week. But, we still got the whole rest of the year, right? So feel free to send in your suggestions. I want to give you guys what you want to see. That's the most important thing, is making sure you guys are getting some out of each of these episodes. So without further ado, though, I guess we can take a little scroll through here and see what's going on. Kanye West. I'm sure we'll get into this when the podcast starts here with the guys. But Kanye West announced himself running for the presidency officially, I think. I don't know. As official as the 100 articles people were sharing are. To be honest with you, I did not do my due diligence and read these articles because I really don't care if he's running or not, to be honest with you. If he is, definitely an interesting conversation. I thought, 4 years ago when he said he was going to run, I think it would have been a little bit more compelling then. But I don't know if I'm really checking for Kanye West at the ballot anymore. Let me know if you guys are thinking about voting for Kanye West, if that's even a possibility. Otherwise, what other updates do I got here? So music-wise, we got a lot of new music coming out. I gonna be dropping a little project here probably next month. So, they're here now? Oh, okay, cool. They just arriving here. All right, you want to go let them in? Just make sure they're all good, settled in. Kenna's pissed because I've got the setup for the tech stuff underneath the stairs like Harry Potter, so that's a little scary. Duncan Marshall, what's good, man? How are you doing? The guys are here. They've arrived. Turning their mic on right now. What's going on, guys? We're live right now. I've just got done with the ad read, and we're just hanging out. I'll let you guys get situated here. You got a piss? Upstairs. It's all good. Up the stairs, take a right. First right, it's the first door on the left. All right, so they're going to take a piss first. Kanye don't know what he's saying. Waka Flocka wanted to run for office but didn't. I feel like celebrities running for office only worked twice, won't happen again in a long time. Yeah, let's hope you're right, man. I'm with you. I don't think I think it was Joe Rogan who said it, and I think he was right when he said that I don't think anybody is fit to be president. I think it's an unmanageable job, and I think there are some people that are more capable of doing it and doing it well, but yeah, I don't know that anybody could really do it to the fullest potential. What's happening, man? What is it? This is not John. I don't think that's John, but how you doing, man? Yeah, Kanye running, man. It's tripping me up, but not really that worried about it. Not really giving it that much thought. Let me scroll through here while we're waiting. We're waiting a couple more minutes for these guys. They're getting set up here. Also, make sure you guys, now that more people are tuning in, let me know. I already said this before, but let me know who you guys want to see on the podcast. Who's your must-have guest for this year? I'm probably going to put up a poll here on Instagram today or tomorrow and see what you guys are feeling, but I really want to know. I want to know what you guys are doing. Also, did anybody, Juice WRLD's new album was announced. I think when's that coming out? This week? Friday? It is coming out Friday. Perfect. We've got a very special guest here in the building. He's been on the show once before. He's not our only guest here tonight, but he's very, very big amongst the D-Bags audience and the Detox audience in general. Give it up for my man, Dylan Fraley. What's happening, dog? Yeah, avoid the cords. Claps all around. Let me get you something, too. Oh shit. Got something for you, man. These mics, it's already on. You guys you don't got to talk all the way up into them like the old ones. Okay. The old ones were a little bit shittier. These are a little bit nicer, and we don't have all the cord action going on. But what's popping? Yeah, you're looking right here. Right here at this guy. We've got Dylan Fraley here, back again. How you been, man? It's been a minute since I've seen you. We were talking about COVID possibly blowing over back then, and we're here now.
Well, I managed to get strep throat in the middle of the pandemic.
I'm sure that was a little
makes
scary.
No fucking sense. So
what's going on, Jordan?
How you been, man?
I'm good, man. How are you? Yeah, just letting it go. I'm just gonna keep letting it go.
But yeah, everyone's been super careful, trying to not get COVID, and I'm trying to follow along, so I'm not get fucking strep. So I don't know how that works. I don't know who the fuck has strep is out there giving me strep. We're all good. Antibiotics. Started taking them like 3 days ago. So
yeah, dude,
I did get tested for COVID though, negative.
That's good.
So if I cough, we're good.
We're good. Yeah, no one will take you out in the comments. No, dude, I woke up a couple days ago with like a runny nose, and like half the time when I wake up, I feel like shit immediately, and I just I'm like, I got to get to the bathroom, got to blow my nose, take a piss, whatever, just flush all the fluids out of my body, and then I'm golden. But I was just so scared on the walk over there. I'm like,
I'm dead.
Fuck, dude. And that's what this all the hysteria behind this pandemic has really done to a lot of people, is like just made us go insane.
Hell yeah.
But it's
nothing better than that.
Yeah, it's been going nuts. But Dylan, before we get in to the guy sitting next to you, and I'm gonna introduce him here in a second, I just want to give you this, my shitty woodworking skills and Mr. Marshall's guidance. This is a Chatty Award. I know you weren't able to make it here in person the other day, but you won Best Guest.
You want to say a few things?
Yeah, you want to say a few things to the audience here?
I'm honored. I did not think that I would win, but I will gladly accept the award. I felt, the conversation was a pretty good conversation.
Double detox. I think that's what you called it when you were on.
Fuck yeah,
It
exactly.
was
You can't
perfect.
have the double without the second D. So
Exactly.
I've been just, an expert in D's my whole life.
I feel that.
I just wanted to add the best D that I could.
wanted to help us out a little bit.
I wanted to make your D as good as it could be with my D.
Little D on D action right there.
Yes.
Double D. I like it.
Exactly.
I dig it. We'll get out of this weird analogy that we're going down.
There's nothing weird about it.
So the
baby.
guy
Let's
sitting
go.
next to you, somebody that I was really excited when you reached out and said that you might be interested in being on the show a while back. Incredibly talented, probably skilled at this point because it's been a while, I'd imagine, that you've been doing it. Photographer.
Yes.
Obviously, a guy sitting next to you. That's what we talked about when he was on for a little bit. And seeing your stuff too, it's incredible. And you've grown a following of, I think it's around like 11,000 followers, close to.
It was up around 12, around 11 now, just because of taking a break.
Yeah.
But it's been quite a journey. It's been about 3 or 4 years now. How long has it been? Jeez, it was.
Probably 3 or 4.
I think it was 2016. A couple months before I'd moved to California, I think is when him and I went to like Starved Rock.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what kicked it off. I know he had told that story on here as well. So that was also the beginning of my journey. And then I was just very fortunate enough to have a job that let me travel. So I was able to live in like California. Then I came back here for a couple months. Then I went and worked over in Europe and Germany. And then after that, we went to Singapore for 6 months and then came back. So was able to see quite a lot in a very short amount of time. And I just wanted
to take a lot of pictures too.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to take advantage of it. So I just did what I could and ended up getting pretty good at it pretty quickly. Just with a lot of support around me, people pushing me to be better.
Yeah.
Things like him. So yeah.
Especially having that to be able to bounce ideas off each other. Like,
no,
do that. I know you mentioned before when like you were using apps on your phone, and then all of a sudden you brought him onto Lightroom and back and forth. Like being able to communicate like that, it's definitely got to help the creative process.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would say just between like Dylan, there's probably a numerous other amount of Instagram photographers who we just like bounce edits off each other, ideas, and be like, hey, have you tried this? What's your experience with this? And it was just really easy to get really good quickly when you have a lot of support around you and people bouncing ideas.
And when you want to, I can imagine.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
like
Yeah, it's like the community's
about.
like very well knit and people are pretty nice for the most part. So like once you find a groove with like a set of very talented people, it's very easy to excel quickly in something. So that's how I felt about photography, and it's still like that to this day. He just happens to be doing a little bit more than me of recent, just given with like COVID and everything.
Yeah.
And just like I had moved back to California now, so with that, it's just been like taking a little bit of a break, but hoping to get back into
Which
it
makes
once things
sense.
get back to normal. Yeah, for sure.
So Faded Colors is the handle on Instagram.
It is.
And I don't think I even said your full name yet here. Jordan Bank. This is my man Jordan Bank. This is the guy who's taken these amazing photos. The man behind Faded Colors. Where did that name come about?
I don't really know what the inspiration behind it was. I was just trying to think of like almost like a pun that would go well with photography. And being that I was shooting a lot of landscape photos, the aperture scale is like, it goes from like I think 1.2 is like one of the lowest. You can get way lower. And then it goes up in like increments of like stops of light. And one of them is f8, which is usually one of the more sharp apertures. And so I was shooting a lot of stuff at f8 and I'm like, okay, let's see if I can like tie this into something. I like colorful work. And I was like, okay, maybe if I do like faded colors. And then I realized my style kind of fit that. And I was like, all right, we're just going to go with this and kind of roll with it. And it kind of like manifested itself.
Yeah.
So if you look on a lot of my photos, they're very colorful. There's kind of a fade on them. And things are shot often at f8. So it's flowed very well.
That's really cool. That's interesting. I always wondered why. And it's cool to finally figure it out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't even realize that the f8 was referencing the aperture. They just thought it was like, just faded. But
yeah.
There's like it's like actually like driven through like photography terms. So.
Yeah, no, I had no idea. I definitely thought the regular version of that was just faded like that, using a little pun.
Super normal, but yeah.
Last time Dylan was here, he said "fuck you" on the podcast.
I know,
to you, directed to you. What do you? I want to know what you got to say back.
I completely understand. He is very justified in that statement, so I'm not even going to argue.
I don't
with
remember
him.
why either. I don't remember why either.
It was probably justified. That's what I can assume.
Yeah, I killed my dog. I know that.
Yeah, we did. We did get
we
into
talked
that.
about that. Yeah, Tony, you
That's
just.
the only fuck you I genuinely remember. So.
And that one was fair. I think.
And the Barcelona kids. Fuck those kids.
Yeah, fuck
the ones
all
that
those
rob you?
people.
Yeah.
Those ones? Oh yeah.
I don't know who else I said fuck you to.
I think so far those are all. I can't remember what it was for you, but all those other ones are definitely deserving.
That one had no reason. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he just needed it. He just needed it that day. So I want to. How long will you be back in Wisconsin then?
I'm actually. Well, it depends. I'm here until Thursday of right now, but I think I'm going to push my flight back a few days. So possibly through the weekend as well at this point.
Okay, that'd be cool. Any places? I mean, I guess you can't right now with COVID. I mean, even though Wisconsin's sort of a free for all, but is there any place you want to shoot here right now, or is it kind of just you want to lay low and see family, see friends?
Yeah,
like
so I'm mainly home for family reasons at this point, so I didn't want to become distracted. So my photography equipment's not even with me.
Okay.
So it's actually sitting back in California right now.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't think I'll be going anywhere. But when I get back to California, my girlfriend and I have been talking about getting out to like the national parks again. So I'm hoping that with everything, you can still go to national parks. I can go out and revisit
I think
some
they're
spots.
open.
I think they are too. I know that some have restrictions. I have a friend who works at Yosemite, and I know that they're open. So debating doing something like Death Valley or Yosemite again, or maybe even just Joshua Tree to do some night photography, being that the Milky Way is back for the summer.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be really sweet. I remember Dylan was talking on his podcast of the first time he was got to shoot stars. How was that like when? And I think you mentioned that you guys figured it out together.
Yeah, he was on the phone looking up how to do it.
Where were you when you did yours?
I was up north in Wisconsin.
That's right. You were doing like a bonfire or something. I remember.
I was at a grad party for the weekend up at a cabin, and it was just like, I don't know how to do this. I see stars. I want to shoot them. And then he was like, try this. I'm looking it up online right now. And I was like, all right, fuck it. And I would do it, set on the ground. And I was like, holy fuck, I see stars. I was like, dude, this shit's working. I was like, I'm gonna keep doing this shit.
That's sweet, dude. So was it just a matter of just kind of Googling, trial and error with everything?
Yeah, I think pretty much everything was just a mix of like, all right, I'm just going to go try this. And if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. We'll just figure it out. Because the first time that I had shot stars, the Mendez family and I were actually for Jose's bachelor party. We were out in Yosemite. And so like I had never done it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try it because it's super dark in Yosemite. Might as well give it a go. So we went out there and we set up the tripod, and I did the same thing, just like Google it and tried to figure it out. And we were able to get some like shots where we could actually see the Milky Way over the mountains, and it just like blew my mind. We were all so excited because something just never thought was possible.
And what were you shooting with at that point?
I think I had a Nikon D610 and then a 2.8 14-24. So it was like a pretty solid setup at the time. Because when did you shoot stars for the first time? Because you were shooting on a crop, weren't you?
Yeah, that had to be July of that year, 2016.
Yeah, so that was around the same time because I think it was like early August. So I probably was taking
like
what
within a month,
because I probably told him what to do and then just like went and replicated that somewhere else.
Yeah,
is my
just
guess.
tried it
Because
again.
trying to figure out like manual mode on a camera for the first time was like pretty intimidating.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I don't do photography and very little video. It's me and my film guy that he goes to school for it. So
Okay.
he understands, and he'll like be like, dude, you got to stop shooting in auto. And I mean that's what we're in right now. So like,
Yeah, I mean, for video, I mean, I have no idea how video works at all. Too, it's so foreign to me. Like people think like, oh, you can take photos, you can do it, but it's like it's so different. The compositional techniques are so different. You have to think about transitions and so many other things that.
Yeah, I never, I thought the same way because
Yeah.
that's what he's done. He's done a little bit of photography for us too, and every time he's always like, he's perfectionist too. So he'll sit there and he'll be like, no, it's not right. No, it's not right. But with video, he's just a little bit quicker, and
Yeah,
it's
it just
just crazy.
clicks. Yeah, it's the same way. It's just like it's very intimidating too to shoot in manual mode because you have to balance the exposure triangle, and if it's something you're not familiar with, it's very easy to blow things out or be too dark.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
just something I would do.
You
You can snag the mic from him too whenever you
Yeah,
want to
dude,
butt in. It's
Remember, me and you went to Chicago that one day, or that one night, and then I remember we were just like, fuck it, let's try long exposures.
Oh, the trains.
Yeah, and we're just
Yeah.
shooting trains, long exposures. He's sitting down shooting a shot of the bean. I'm shooting a shot of him with cars behind him, and I'm like, this one's brighter for some reason. I'm going to swap it the other way and see what happens. And then I remember just being like, is F2, that one brighter, or is that F8 brighter? I was like, is a higher, lower better? And he's like, I think you want lower. And I was like, all right. Yeah, I just literally remember that night. No fucking clue.
Yo, how do you guys get? Okay, I'm sure it's not that crazy, but to like the regular person who doesn't shoot photography, when you guys get those pictures of, and a lot of people do it, where it's like street lights, traffic, and you kind of like blend all the lights together.
Right.
How is that done? In layman's terms, how is that done so that like I can understand?
So when you think of what a camera's doing, the shutter's gonna open really quick, and then while it's open, all light's gonna come in, and the sensor's gonna be like, okay, here's what we saw. So when you do a long exposure, you're opening the shutter and it's staying open. So all light over time that comes in is gonna get imprinted on that. So like when you have a car going like this, if you're just shooting a single shot, the quick little short exposure, you're just gonna get the tail lights here. That's it, because it's at that instant in time camera now. Right there is where you get it.
Okay.
If you do a long exposure, you're gonna get the lights here, 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 here,
Wow.
here, here, all over the whole 30 seconds. So you're just gonna see the brightest spot, the tail lights, just in a line together, and it's gonna get a smooth line.
So you'll see that in camera then too, or before, like you don't even like
Yes.
before you even get into editing it and all that shit. Like you can
Yeah, because
already-
if you try to do individual shots and then actually put them together, it's not gonna be as continuous. You're gonna see
Mm-hmm.
the different dots.
Be a little choppy. And
Yeah, so
whatnot.
the easiest way is you just do a long exposure because then it's just going to get the whole thing.
Wow.
You just basically adjust. It has to be dark enough so that like you're obviously not getting the sky that whole time too. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's just going to be blinded.
Yeah, it's like his point. It's like aggregating. Like, think if you took like a video of that same exact time frame, you were taking like a long exposure photo.
Mhm.
You're like averaging out the light between that time frame instead of recording the whole thing. So like he's saying, with it being like bright where the light trails are,
Mhm.
so that's the brightest part of that exact moment. So that's the only piece that really stands out when it's recorded over that average time frame.
Wow, that's crazy. It just, I mean, I actually like you guys explained it really well. Actually, I can kind of understand how that someone could do that. I never would have known. I always thought it was some sort of like video thing that was going on,
Right.
or like you said before, how it would be choppy if you did it picture by picture.
Right.
I
Yeah,
thought it was something like
that's
that.
the same thing with stars too. Like you shoot the stars, the camera's just open for longer. So
Mhm.
instead of just getting the single dot in a brief second of all this darkness, it's gonna see that dot, and that dot's gonna keep going in on that same spot in the sensor, and the dot's gonna get brighter and brighter because it's still adding.
Mhm.
So you're gonna see that dot, and then you can actually see those stars after doing it for a long time. If you do it too long, since the Earth's spinning, you'll actually see the stars start to make their trails.
They'll start having the
So
trail.
that's how you see star trails. It's just a long exposure, but even longer.
It's over the course of like hours.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you shoot stars, then, or even if you shoot traffic like that, is it are you having to be on a tripod then to not allow? Because I'm sure you probably can't move while that's going
Right,
on, or that'll
exactly.
fuck the
You
whole
basically
thing.
need to be completely hands off, no touch. So a lot of people use remotes. That way there's no
Okay.
camera shake.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because when you
pushing
push
it.
that button, then when you let go, you're pushing down. It's gonna come up, shake everything up.
Mm-hmm. Especially too if you get a shitty tripod and whatnot. Like we've got shitty tripods.
Yeah,
so
if you
I
got
know
like
how it
if
works.
you got a steady hand, you can do like a shorter, like a second long exposure maybe.
Mhm.
Things aren't gonna be perfectly in focus, but you might be able to get away with like enough.
Yeah.
Like I've done some like longer exposures handheld, but it's not like it's just because I didn't have a tripod.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is you have bodies that have image stabilization built in.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually able to like balance that little shake just because of the stabilization software that they have built in them. Some lenses have that as well, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if other companies are doing it, but I know Sony was the one who first had this in-body stabilization. But I don't know. You shoot Nikon still, so you might have a better idea if they do.
Yeah, I have no idea. I think they got the VR, so yeah.
Yeah. I have no
I know
idea.
the lenses do for sure.
Yeah, I don't know about the
I
bodies.
think it's vibration reduction is what the VR stands for. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, I have no idea. All I know is I've got a couple Canons here with 50 millimeter lenses on them.
Hey, they
That's
do the
it.
job, right?
Exactly.
Well,
That's
if
all
you
we
learn
need.
how to shoot manual after this, dude.
Yeah, well, we can give you a
we're
lesson.
Dude,
done. You got the
absolutely. That would
experts.
be sweet, dude. For real.
Do that.
For real.
Show on your phone.
Oh, throwing the phone.
That's
Jordan, I want to ask. So you're out in California, right? Where in Cali?
So we're in right now. I currently live in like Westwood area of LA. So it's in the city, but the way LA set up, it's a kind of like a bunch of like smaller suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
So previously, when I first moved out there, we were living in like Hollywood area, and then back in May now, we just moved over to like the Westwood area, which is closer to the ocean, so it's a little bit cooler.
Okay. So do you love it out in California, or?
Yeah, the only bad thing is everything's very expensive.
I can imagine.
It's still worth it because at least when I moved out there, the job that I took had a nice like pay bump to kind of offset that, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But like with the weather and everything, I don't really know if I could ever move back anywhere else, just
Yeah.
given how perfect it is. Like I come here and it's like super humid and hot all the time, whereas like when I'm in California, it's like 75, like light breeze, no humidity.
God,
it's
yeah.
like, why would I want to be anywhere else?
I've never been to Cali, but I've always wanted.
You should
I've
come
always
out.
wanted to.
You have a place to stay if you come out.
I will definitely be taking you up on that.
You should.
That would be sweet. We've got some comments here actually.
Oh,
Megan,
let's go.
Megan Zine, shout out to Jordan Bank. Heyo. John says, talk closer to the mic, boys. Okay, John.
Does he want some asthma?
He wants he wants some ASMR.
Yeah,
Yeah, why isn't John
should
here?
be here,
I figured
John.
John was
Fuck
gonna pull
you.
up with you. I honestly did.
John,
He'd,
I want you.
We talked about it a while back. He wanted to do one with all four of us, and I'm actually getting the microphones to be able to do that. Hey, John,
Hey,
this is close enough for you.
how does this make you feel?
He's probably just left the chat. He's like, fuck this,
He's like,
dude.
Jesus Christ.
No.
He's like, I've sat through enough of these live.
Yeah. So what is like the best thing? I mean, not even from a photography standpoint, just life standpoint about being out in Cali versus homeless people.
That's the weird thing is when we moved, there's like significantly less homeless people where we are now because
Mhm.
we're in more of like a residential area. But to get back to what you were saying, the best thing about living out there is it's definitely the weather and just access to the ocean.
Yeah.
I know with like COVID, we really haven't been able to take advantage of that. But back in like 2016, when I lived in Orange County, I would probably go to the beach like 3-4 times a week just to like go swim in the ocean because it's just super refreshing, man. So
Yeah.
I would. It's the weather, you know. I go outside for a run every day. I couldn't do that here. I've been here for like 10 days now. I haven't done like a single thing outside because it's just so miserable.
It's gross out.
Yeah, it's terrible. So like I really just like can't even enjoy the times that it's nice here. So yeah, it's 100% the weather.
Yeah, I figured it would be. So the weather and being that close to the ocean though is worth the money in your opinion.
It's worth the money. It also helps that I'm splitting rent with somebody, so it's not as bad.
Yeah.
If it was just like me renting a studio, it's like over $2,000 just to have something like remotely decent there.
Yeah.
And like that's rough.
That is, yeah. I know I had a guy who was, I don't know what part of Cali he was staying in, but he was part of like a small startup like tech company.
Okay.
And he was at the mansion that I work at for a wedding. And so I was just bartending, talking to him, and he seemed like a really cool guy. And he's telling me about his company and all this shit. I'm like, holy, there's like some like biotech thing. And like, so he was making a lot of money and he was living out in Cali. And he had 6 roommates.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And he was making like $200,000 a year. Yeah. And I was like, "Are you shitting me, dude? You got 6 roommates?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's like
just
normal."
casually, like, yeah, no, it's no big deal.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude,
5 people to share a house with.
Well, he's like 20, 27, 28, and I'm like, dude, and you're doing really well for yourself, and you got to live with 6 other people? That's fucking ridiculous to me.
I'm sure
that like if you tag in not only rent but student loans.
Oh god,
you're fucking just
yeah, that makes
luck.
sense.
It's like usually you want one or the other, but then right off the beginning, it's like, hey man, have both. And you're like, God, all right, well, fuck.
Especially out in Cali too. That makes sense. Damn, dude. Where so what do you do for work then?
So I actually work for Activision now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I work on their finance team, working on like development finance. So like any of our upcoming titles over the next few years, if they need like basically financial guidance on like, hey, what are we gonna spend? How much are we gonna spend and why on what things? That all flows through me.
Wow.
So I'm doing all the management of that. So like the things that have been announced this year, like Crash Bandicoot was just announced and Tony Hawk has been announced in the last 2 months. Those are projects that I've been working on since I started there. So stuff that I like know but I can't talk about.
That's insane, dude.
So yeah, I get to see a lot of stuff. Like I know stuff that's coming out like years from now that like we just can't talk about. So it's like it's very different from like what I was doing before. Like I was working in like healthcare finance before, and it's like I still knew about stuff, but nobody cared.
Yeah.
Like now I play tons of video games myself and have friends who play, so it's like always very difficult to be like, well, I can't really tell you, but it's definitely a lot more interesting and fun than I was doing before.
So around like all the expos, like E3 and everything's like getting announced and stuff, or you're just kind of sitting there like
I'm like more curious. Yeah, it's like for me, it's like I'm more curious about the response. Like I want people to be excited about things, and it's like everything we announced this year has had like good feedback, so it's been exciting. Because it's like when you get to talk to like the developers who are like working so hard on it for months, like you want them to feel good about what they're doing, and so seeing the community response has been something that I didn't really expect to like be like proud of or anything, especially because a lot of people like to call out like the gaming companies for being like scummy with like microtransactions and stuff, but it's like once you're on the inside you have like a little bit of a different view. There's like obviously still personal beliefs I hold on things like that that might differ, but you definitely get it once you're on the inside.
What about how do you feel about microtransactions?
So I wouldn't say that I hate them. I don't love them because they're purely like choice. As long as the game's not pay to win, it's not really a big deal. If it's like purely cosmetics, that's on the consumer. Like if you want your gun or your car or whatever to look cool, like that's purely up to you. It has no impact on your performance. So things like that, like no big deal to me, as long as it's not like, I think games like Hearthstone are probably more targeted towards like pay to win, because it's like, let's say you buy a bunch of packs of cards, now your decks are better and you can perform better.
Or like even Battlefront 2 when that came out, Star Wars. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
They got like, I think the game got banned in a couple countries overseas because it was considered promoting gambling to
probably loot boxes, right?
Yeah,
I would assume.
It was so bad with the loot box. The whole game was set up so that the only way you could even unlock, you had to unlock each of the heroes.
Okay.
And to unlock someone like Darth Vader, someone pretty standard in the Star Wars, whatever, it would have taken 100 hours if you didn't put any money.
Oh, I actually did read about this now that you mention it.
Yeah, 100 hours.
Because I know EA got roasted for this.
Oh, they got I think they were voted like the worst company of like whatever year that came out.
Yeah, because
like
I think they
ago.
did like a Reddit AMA, and like their response, dude, they got absolutely destroyed on this AMA by people just because their response was so bad.
Dude, well,
the most downvoted comment in Reddit history.
Oh Jesus Christ, dude! I think the CEO or somebody over at EA said like, we don't care, like this is what people want, and it's like, dude, literally millions of people are telling you they don't want this shit.
I do think that like gaming companies miss the mark sometimes, because like we'll be on like calls and stuff too with like some of the people that are like higher up at the company, and like they'll be like, this is what players want, and like all of my teammates and stuff kind of look at each other like, do they know that that's not actually true?
Yeah.
So I feel like some people do get a little bit removed and kind of miss the mark. But like I said, as long as it's not like pay to win, I think it's perfectly okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if it's especially, you know, if kids want the next skin in Fortnite, or they want fucking their character to look however they want, I think that's fine. It just sucks when it's like, I'm just trying to play the game, and
Right,
someone else you
exactly.
can tell is pumped money into it, and it's like, dude, we're not playing mobile games.
Right, exactly.
Like,
See, mobile games is where it really started. I
Yeah.
feel like that's where like people realize how much money you can make off mobile
my
games,
God.
and they're like, what if we put this on console or PC? And they're like,
Mhm.
we could really scam people for a lot of money here.
Oh yeah, and that's what they did, and then that's what I think that was the other reason that Battlefront got shitted on, is because the first one only had like 3 game modes, and it was really cool to just see everything and like whatever the next gen like graphics and whatnot. But I bought the game for full price, and like after like 3 hours, you played everything, and it was like, wow, this sucked. No story mode, nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when they did the second one, they promised like this big story mode, and it was like a 5-hour story mode, and then it was the same shit, terrible. But they added loot boxes, so it was even better.
Yeah, exactly. Got to have your loot boxes, right? Yeah. Yeah, I know that loot boxes have definitely been banned in like Europe and stuff because it's basically gambling at that point.
Oh yeah, especially when it's like to young, Star Wars isn't necessarily there's older people that play those games too, but especially when it's like targeted towards like younger
Exactly.
generation, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 'cause they don't have a concept of money. So they're like, I got my mom's credit card linked
Oh,
up.
I know.
I'm just gonna keep buying the fucking V-Bucks,
my
dude.
mom pays for the live, so the card's already on the PlayStation. You know.
Yeah,
I can just-
exactly.
are you PlayStation then, or
No, I play on PC for the most
PC?
part.
Okay.
Yeah, we have like PS4s at work, which is pretty cool.
Mm.
That sit at our desks, but like unless I'm like gaming at work, I'm like pretty much always on my PC now.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One reveal? Like, how do you guys think about, what do you feel about them aesthetically? And then, I don't really know shit about the specs other than they're going to be better. That's all I know.
The PS5's a unit, dude.
Yeah.
That thing's
It's
huge.
fucking huge, dude.
That thing's fucking massive.
Especially like if you get the one with the CD drive.
Right, exactly.
The fucking extra like clump. And I enjoy, like, I have a couple of games. There's only a couple of series where like I like to own the disc.
Right.
Other than that, I buy everything online, so
Yep.
I get not getting it. But like, I'm probably gonna have to buy the fucking stupid disc version for an extra $50 or $100.
People are thinking it's actually going to be cheaper, is what?
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Mhm. I feel like if it had more, like, that's another thing. Like, I feel like, if you were building a PC and you wanted to add a CD drive, that would cost extra money.
Right, exactly.
So-
It makes sense because most cases don't have CD drives at this point.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it's overall the less desirable one. That's probably
Yeah.
the only reason for it.
That
They'll
would
be
work
like,
out for
no,
me then.
nobody's gonna want this one, so
And I'm
we'll
scared-
make it
drive
less.
people to want the other one more, which is
Yeah.
probably the marketing concept behind it.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm scared too, dude, is that like which one's gonna have, because like every time the next gen consoles come out, like they're awesome, you want to get it right away, and then it's like a couple months in, a year in, something something breaks, and then they're like, oh, here's the Pro one, we fixed all the things that were wrong with it, like the PS3s, like all could get the yellow light or whatever, and then they came out with the Slim, oh, you can't get that now.
You feel like you're QA
PS4.
testing something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, dude, let me just, if you want me to be a beta tester, let me be a beta tester, like I don't want to, I'm scared, I don't know how much money it's gonna be either, since they
Yeah,
haven't announced price.
I think my guess would be about $600. I don't know what you're expecting. That's probably what I'm thinking. I think 500 would make sense. I wouldn't be surprised just given the rise in hardware that's going to be in it, because I think that they're going to be able to run things up to 120 frames per second, which is double what the PS4 Pro is doing right now.
Yeah.
And I know they're going to solid state drives, which is way better, so load time should be in theory a lot faster now.
That'd be sweet.
They should probably go bigger than 1 terabyte, because I think even the PS4 Pros are a terabyte. I'm not sure.
I've got a Slim with a terabyte in it.
Yeah,
'cause I
and,
make
like,
sure to get a terabyte.
I know everyone hates the Modern Warfare update sizes and
Oh,
everything. So
yeah.
think about that. Like, you can fit like that and like maybe another game on your PS4 Pro. So like a terabyte, I fear is
Yeah.
not that much. Like, even if you have to pay like an extra like 50 to 100 to get double that, it's probably still worth it.
Probably worth, especially with how big games are probably going to be.
Yeah, I think that especially with like if you've seen like the new tech like Unreal Engine 5 and stuff like that, I'm just
yeah.
fully expecting. I'm
Yeah.
fully expecting these games to just blow up in size. I don't
Yeah.
really know how they're going to manage it, so I'm curious to see like how they're going to manage data.
Maybe that's why they're trying to get
So
people to the
fucking good.
digital
Yeah.
things, have some sort of like cloud storage of some sort, I'd imagine.
Yeah, there's got to be some solution. That's all I know, because like I know as time progresses, storage has been cheaper and cheaper, which has been great. But at some point it's either going to have to become even cheaper, or they're going to have to offer, like you said, like a cloud solution, which would make perfect sense.
Yeah, I wonder, dude.
Because I have like 2 terabytes on my PC, and like I had the 1 terabyte and I filled it up so fast.
Oh yeah,
Because like not only am I managing games, like I'm managing like all the photos that we take and everything. So
Yeah.
it's like you can really fill space up really quick.
yeah, no, I got like a 2 terabyte external hard drive to like switch between my like PC and my laptop from when I'm editing stuff,
Right.
and I filled that in like 3 months. And
Yeah,
so now I have another one, and I'm like, it's almost full, and I'm like, fuck, dude, you really run.
You
out
should
of
just
shit.
probably look at something like Synology at this point.
What
I
is
don't know.
that?
Are you familiar with that? They're like, it's like a mini server almost. So you
Mm.
would buy like, it'd be like probably like this big and like this high, and it's
Mm.
just like a bunch of like different hard drives that you slot into it.
Okay.
But then it like sits there and it manages all of your data on like a server.
Holy shit, that
yeah.
sounds awesome.
It sounds awesome. I think
I
they're
don't
pretty expensive for the most part,
Oh,
but
no, I
like
have to hold
if
off.
yeah, I know. So
I
I,
have to
like
hold
even
off
I
for a
don't have
little
one. Like I've been wanting to get one, but like I just can't justify it at this point. You have to have the space for it too. But I know
Mm.
like
Then you'd say shit like the servers are down, and everyone be like, "Oh fuck, this guy's
Shit.
legit."
This guy's legit. The servers are down.
You know
It's
Joe,
funny as
right?
fuck.
from Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he just bought one, and he said that like his like data management's like tenfold better now because he has that. But like yeah, they're like insanely expensive.
Damn, I can imagine,
I've
dude.
not heard of this.
So Singapore, how was moving around? We'll get back to that a little bit. How
Moving
was moving
around.
around as much as you did? And was it all for Activision, or were you working for someone else?
No, so Abbott Laboratories in like Libertyville area. That's who I was working for at the time. So when I moved out to California, which was the first job that I had taken with them, I was working for their medical optics business. So I was like supporting the commercial side of the business when I was out there. Then I came back to here in Chicago, worked on the treasury side of things for 6 months. After that, I went over to Germany for 6 months, and then I worked on the diabetes care business. So Freestyle Libre was the product that I mainly worked on, which is now a like essentially prickless diabetes care system. So you basically put something on the back of your arm, and then you have like a scanner, and you just scan that, and it tells you your like glucose levels.
Oh wow.
So instead of having to prick your fingers every day, you could just do that. So and those sensors lasted like I think 10 to 14 days. So
Oh, wow.
basically you just like put it in the back of your arm, and then you're good for like 2 weeks.
That's pretty nice.
So so that way you don't have like numb fingers all the time. So this was like pretty revolutionary and disruptive at the time. So that was a very interesting thing that I got to work on when I was over there. And then after that, I went over to Singapore and worked at one of our manufacturing facilities for nutritional products. So things like like Similac baby formula that people use
Okay.
would be like something that we manufactured. And so I got to
Okay.
oversee the manufacturing operations at the Singapore facility.
How was that?
It was super interesting because you actually work in the plant itself. So you go in and there's like an office attached to like all the manufacturing, but then like multiple times per week you have to actually go like into the manufacturing facility and like go through like meetings and like tiers and understand like what's going on and why.
Wow.
So yeah, you get really close to the product, which was something that was always super interesting to me, and that's kind of how I ended up taking the role at Activision that I did, because I always want to be like very closely connected with the product, because I think the further away you get, the harder it is to understand like what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah. I can see that.
So just being like as close as I can to like the actual like development of like products, whether it be video games, healthcare, anything, is just like super intuitive for my brain.
Yeah, because keeping you engaged and whatnot.
Right, exactly. Like just having a tangible item to attach to what you're doing it makes things simpler, in my opinion.
And what in moving as many times as you did, how was like, I mean, socially, like you're having to find a place to stay. Is work helping you figure that out? How are you meeting people, or like how's your pastime other than trying to stay connected with friends here?
Yeah, definitely. So work actually would find all the apartments for everything in us. So they would reach out a couple months in advance of us moving, and they would basically give us a few options, say like, hey, which one of these do you want to live in?
Yeah.
And so then we would pick where we wanted to live, and then when we would get there, like work would pay for the flights. We'd fly in there, usually living out of like a suitcase or two because everything would be furnished.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like finding friends, I would say in California, one of my friends actually moved out there with me, and he hung out with me most of the time. So him and I traveled a bunch when we were out there. We met some friends on like working out at the gym and just things like that. So that was pretty cool. Then when I was in Germany, I mostly just traveled with my coworkers who were over there.
Yeah.
And then I met up with a few random photographers just over Europe who I had like talked to over like Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Which kind of brings me into like where I met one of my like best friends in Singapore through Instagram as well. So like
Really?
by the time I like flew in, I had never met the guy, but he like picked me up from the airport and then like hung out with me for like 24 hours straight, like right after, just like showing me around, introducing me to people.
So
And
how'd
then
that work then? He hit you up on Instagram, or you hit him up?
we were like in this like mutual like pod at some point where people would like discuss like their photos and like do like editing review and stuff like that. And I just like happened to see that he was from Singapore. I'm like, hey dude, like I'm moving to Singapore, like if you want to hang out or show me around or anything, like I'd really appreciate it. And he was like, yeah dude, sure, why not? Like they're all these like little Singaporean dudes and I'm just some big tall white dude coming in, and they were like, all right, well, sounds good, I guess. So yeah, I got like really close with that friend group over my 6 months there. We even traveled to like Shanghai together, Japan together, Hong Kong together. So yeah, I got to like kind of travel with these dudes, and it was a really good time. I still talk to all of them to like this day too.
That's awesome.
I even went back out there in December and hung out with them all again. So
So how did they what were some things that they were curious about from you, Nick, being from the United States? Was there anything where they were like any weird stereotypes or something that they had towards you that, you know, you were like, no guys, that's not it, or you had to explain to them?
I think the whole Trump thing, obviously, like everyone
Yeah.
always has to ask about it, especially because it was after he was elected. So that was one thing that they would like bombard me with questions about, stuff like that, like asking me like, oh, is America really like the movies and all these things? And it's just like, no, America's not like a walking stereotype. Like people aren't 30-year-old in high school.
Yeah.
Just shit at McDonald's and for fun. They're like, yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
sometimes like
Yeah, the gun thing definitely came up too. Like just like the most like anything you can think of like stereotypical American, they were at least curious about and they would ask questions about.
like whatever's in the 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah,
that kinda
exactly.
shit.
Just between that and then like movies.
Yeah.
Like those are the two things that they were super curious about. Because like I think it's mostly British people in Singapore, being that it used to be a British colony. So they don't really get too accustomed to like how the United States operates. So
Yeah.
I know they've definitely learned a lot about American culture over the past few years, and they continue to be curious about it. It's like in all the recent events, they're always like, wow, you guys are so stupid. And I'm like, well, you don't got to tell me.
Yeah.
I live here.
Yeah, exactly. We're figuring it out one day at a time.
Yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
We're taking it slow. It's ridiculous. We've talked about it way too much on this podcast. I wanna talk to you about kind of so in photography then, and I know we talked about earlier. You used to shoot on Nikon too, I think, right?
Yeah, originally I did.
Originally,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why he said "fuck you." I guarantee it. That has to be
That's
the
what it was, 'cause
reason.
You switched, right? You
It
switched
had to be. Yeah,
Sony?
I switched, but he bought his, and then I had like decided to switch a few months later. Speaking of, dude, nice.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah. Are
Let's
we in
go.
July? We're in July. I gotta flip it. We just.
I was there.
You were there.
I was there
Oh,
for that
really?
one.
I wish we had the third. We're trying to get a third camera here, so I wish I had the third camera so they could see.
It's a picture of Banff National Park for everybody watching.
Yeah.
You were at the rock pile.
part of
trying to fuck off.
Dylan's calendar.
Yeah.
Do you have prints?
I
as
do
well?
have prints. I don't have a calendar. Dylan definitely is a little bit more active with stuff like that, but I do have prints.
I'm gonna have to get a print.
You really should.
No, I will.
We'll hook you up.
100%. Because I
We'll hook you
I
up.
like to
Follow up with me on that. We'll get you one.
100%. I like to support everybody that's doing shit, and I'll gladly pay full price. I don't want to discount.
Are you sure?
anything
You
like
don't
that.
have to.
No, yeah,
I'll give it to you at
absolutely.
cost. It makes no
Absolutely,
difference to
dude.
me.
I'll put it up right there.
All right, perfect.
I don't know how big it is, but hopefully it'll fit in
Whatever size
somewhere.
you
in
Yeah,
this-
whatever size you want, we'll make it work.
Okay.
We'll
yeah,
take measurements and stuff too.
definitely. Yeah. No, that'd be awesome, dude. I would love it.
Sounds good.
But so you know that okay. So Dylan said fuck you, switching to Nikon. When you guys started together, and then when you switched, what was the reason for the switch?
So I actually had been introduced to a guy when I was shooting in Chicago. I'm in the middle of the winter. He was with me at the time too. And
Fuck that guy.
yeah, you know, because he was with, so he knows.
He's a good guy.
So there's a guy named Mike Meyer. He's actually extremely big on Instagram now.
Meyer?
Mike Myers. Yeah, like literally the actor's name. I know it's
literally
this,
the guy right over.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Same
M Myers 76.
76 is Instagram. He's a
Okay.
very talented individual that we happen to have met at the same time when I was home from, where was I coming back from? It was between Germany and Singapore, wasn't it?
I think so. And it was very cold, and you did not like it.
It was like -6. I had just gotten back from not -6. But yeah, so he was shooting with the Sony. I was just super curious. Then he like showed us his work, and we were just like pretty blown away with the dude's work. The reason Dylan is a little bit salty about the story is
We'll get back to that.
we'll get back to this, but you know, he had really stellar work, and I was just curious, and his editing process was like super interesting to me, and he was like kind of like giving me the spiel on like why he liked it and why it was better than what he was working with before. And I was like, all right, fuck it. Like, I'm going to try it. Like, for some reason, you know, hardware probably makes like the least amount of difference in photos compared to like actual editing talent and stuff like that. But like at the time, like, you don't know any better. You're just trying to like do whatever you can to set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
So I went with it. I made the switch. I'm like, all right, I'm early enough on. I don't want to have to do this in like 5 years. I
When
think
you're
that like,
totally settled in.
yeah, exactly. You don't want to have like 5 lenses and like 3 bodies and be like, you know, now's the time.
Yeah.
You're like, I'd rather do it when I have like 1 lens and 1 camera. So I just sold what I had, made the switch.
Mm-hmm.
I still shoot Sony to this day, and a very, very good decision I think that I made.
Yeah.
I shoot mirrorless as well, which that's why I made the switch, is because it went from like an actual mirrored camera, like a DSLR, to a mirrorless camera. And being that I was traveling, it was way lighter.
Yeah.
And so having to not carry like 50 pounds of camera stuff all over the world was
Definitely makes it easier.
yeah, it made it a lot easier. And like now it wouldn't be a big deal at all because I'm not traveling as much with as much gear.
Yeah.
But at the time, like it was a really good decision. So that's really why I made the switch.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I would do it again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of left Dylan out. But Dylan, you gotta tell the story now.
All right. We're outside Adler Planetarium, and it's fucking cold. And we're sitting there shooting. I'm next to him. He's next to me. He just randomly spoke Spanish to a Spanish guy. I was like, God damn, that was impressive. I can't.
That was sexy.
That was
right
cool.
There. You're like, wow, that's
Yeah.
dope.
So then this fucking the Mike guy walks up, and he just starts talking to him and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I just spent $7,000 on a new setup. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, you guys on Instagram? And we're like, yeah. We're like, holy shit, this dude's going to follow us. He pulls out his phone. He hands him his phone. I take off my fucking glove. I pull out my phone. He's like, he fucking types it in. He follows him back. And I go to hand him my phone. He just looks away and puts his hands back in his pocket.
Oh shit.
And I was like, motherfucker. I was like, my hand's out here freezing and shit.
Freezing for you.
So then I put my hand in my pocket. And then he's like, yeah, you guys can go shoot at the roof of this place. It's cool. We fucking go. It's closed. So I was like, all right, this dude's fucking 0 for 2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just is like around because he's a Chicago guy and he knows him. He's shooting with him. He's friends with him. Blah blah blah. I have never seen this guy
You
again.
got left out of this.
But he's every once in a while he likes my photo. I'm like, oh shit, cool. He comments, oh shit, cool. And even at one point he was like, this is the best photo of Chicago I've seen in a long time. And I was like, dude, fuck yeah. Still doesn't follow me. I was like, dude, what?
He's still checking for you though.
Yeah, I was like, how the fuck?
Over a year.
Yeah,
We're not
over
talking
a
like,
year.
like weeks. We're talking like a year.
So
He
he's like
just
your nemesis.
shit on me at one point and was
Yeah.
like, fuck you, hands in pockets, get out of here. And then he
Damn.
just is like taunting me. He's like, yeah, well, I'm gonna like a photo. Oh, you thought I was
God.
gone, bitch? I'm gonna like your shit again.
Oh shit.
And then I was like, all right, whatever. I just stopped commenting on people's posts in general and didn't really care. I didn't use Instagram as much.
Mhm.
And he would still find me and come and like my shit and comment. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, you have to be finding me. Like, you have to actively be searching me
He's
out.
searching your name.
Yeah. So it became a meme. We were just like, Mike doesn't follow me. Mike doesn't follow me. Fuck him. Fuck
Do you
Mike.
follow him?
Yeah. He follows me now.
Wow.
He just fucking out of the blue just followed me. And I was like, the meme's dead.
Holy shit.
I was like, I'm not even like, fuck yeah, he followed
was it
me.
this year?
I don't know, probably a year ago.
This has been
Year
over
ago?
a year. for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just like, I wasn't even like, fuck yeah, he followed me. I was like, oh, the
I
meme's
just remember
dead.
he sent me the picture of the notification. I was just like, holy shit, it's
Big,
over.
you're a big deal now.
Yeah, but he's a great photographer. And I was just like, it was just a fucking great meme to be like, nah, man, fuck Mike.
Just an
fuck-
awkward
fuck me."
interaction turned into a great meme. That's all you can ask for.
Exactly. I was like, I don't even
Years,
care
dude.
if he
Not
follows
even
me.
like a short-term meme. Like it was like years.
Oh,
And
that's
I don't know
nuts.
what, I wasn't even really posting much. He just fucking followed me out of the blue. And I was just like, no shit.
Deal.
This is fucking very random. But yeah, so that
So
was
is
the
he a
story of that
full-time
guy.
photographer then? Do you guys know?
Yeah, so
More than I do.
I don't know if he does it full time now. He was working in like the advertising business before that,
Okay.
and then he started doing that once he got laid off, and then he got really good really quick. And then he started picking up like deals. Like now he works with like Sony directly.
Oh, wow.
But he does mostly freelance work, so I think he does like a mix of like ad and photos now.
Gotcha.
So he technically does it full time, I would say, but I know he still does
Mm-hmm.
advertising stuff on the side.
Have you guys ever? Would you do photography full time if you could? And have you ever been like close to doing it, or been kind of ready to take that leap, or?
So I know in the past I was probably more keen on doing something like that than I am now. There were times where I definitely had considered it. I don't think I would do it now, just because I think when you mix passion with work, it can become a little bit tiresome and not feel like you wouldn't be as passionate anymore. So I definitely got to points where I was like doing like ad work. Like Dylan would come with me when I was doing like ad shoots for like companies like SanDisk and stuff, and it just like it felt like work. It never felt like I was going out to shoot. Yeah, Door County was the perfect example. Him and I drove 4 hours up to Door County for like 2 photos.
I think you mentioned that when you were on before. Yeah.
Like yeah, we spent like the entire day, like 16 hours doing this for like 2 photos, and we were just like the entire time it was more like it felt better to just like chill and vibe than actually do the work itself. And I was like, all right, this is work.
It was a good amount of
Yeah.
money, though. That was nice.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's good money. Don't get me wrong, but like I kind of do it to like de-stress and get away from work.
Gotcha. That makes
yeah.
sense.
If I were to do it full time, it would have to be the right kind of full-time photography. Like I wouldn't want to be doing studio shit
Yeah.
and like portraits and being like, all right, it's senior picture time. Let's go.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's
No.
fucking smile, you fucking dick.
You guys need. I could tell you guys probably both need to like travel. And do some cool
I
shit
wouldn't be
like
like,
that.
don't look at your mom, asshole. Look at me.
You gotta go. Be
I
like
want to be like the.
Drake's photographer.
We're gonna pay you to go to fucking Iceland and just use our backpack. I'm like, what? And post one picture with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Fucking okay.
Oh, yeah,
That's the
shit.
kind of like if they were like, yeah, do that shit. That's a lot better than if they're like doing families and weddings
Oh yeah.
and all
No.
that
No.
shit.
Yeah.
I'd have to do like more like Andrew's got it pretty good too.
Yeah, Andrew's got it
Yeah.
perfect. It's like almost like lifestyle.
Mhm.
So he does work with like companies like Lululemon
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Jansport. I know he did stuff for like, was it High Snobbity? Is that the name of the Instagram page? They like do like mostly culture stuff.
Don't know him.
I fucking love Andrew. Andrew's a great
Yeah.
dude. Shout out Andrew.
Andrew
Andrew Glatt. He's
Andrew Glatt.
also a great photographer.
Photographer. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, another guy that we got close to who does it full time now.
He was
Oh,
also
okay.
there when we took that.
Yeah,
picture.
so
He was
there was
there
the
for
three
that
of us.
picture
It
too?
was no, there's four of us. There was Ed, Andrew, Dylan, and myself.
Ed, the only non-photographer.
Wow.
He still took pictures
He
though.
was just driving, or
Andrew was actually, he flew to Alaska and then like went to the Pacific Northwest and then just like met up with us in Canada.
Randomly the same.
so how'd you guys meet him? Over Instagram as well?
Yeah, he's from
or-
Chicago. We
Oh,
just
okay.
happened to hang out. Like he was like, "Oh, I'm also in this random part of Canada." And we're like, "Fucking hang out with us." All right.
Damn, that's dope, dude. You gotta start taking pictures, bro.
You meet a
all
lot
these
of random
insane
people really
yeah.
fast. Yeah, the community is really good. I think we're also fortunate to know a lot of the best people in the community.
Yeah.
There's another guy that was also from Wisconsin,
Who was that?
Andy.
Oh yeah. So there's another guy named Grant Place is his Instagram name @Grant Place, and he's also
Okay.
very talented. And he just happened to be there too. So we were like shooting at what's the name of that lake? Peyote, I think, or Pado Lake. And he just like I had no cell service, nothing. He just goes, "Oh hey Jordan." I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Holy
Like
shit.
some random guy just walks up to me and knows who I am. So yeah, it's just it's crazy the amount of talented people you just meet and get to interact with and find at the most random times.
So how do you obviously you got a substantial like following on Instagram. I mean 10, 11, 12K whatever it is now. It's no small feat. How do you go about growing photography, especially a photography page now when things are kind of saturated where a lot of people people take their pictures with their iPhone and they're like, I'm a photographer, I use portrait mode and blah blah blah. So
Yeah, I would say I also was probably in early enough that it was easier to grow than it would be now. The big strategy that I used was you post consistent content all the time. I mean, I had the fortune of posting stuff from all over the world, so people wouldn't even know like when something was from. They'd think I was traveling all the time when I really wasn't.
yeah.
So just between that and then networking with people who like I genuinely like their stuff and wanted to like hang out with them and learn from them,
Yeah.
really helped me. Because like I said, the guy like Mike blew up, and so
Yeah.
like being friends with Mike sometimes throws me on his story, or Mike wants to like tag me in his posts and say like, oh, I went and shot with this guy, and like people would just like flock to your page and like look at your work and be like, oh, I like this guy's work too, I'll follow him.
So, and not to cut you off before, I guess for other people then, so I mean, you got to meet Mike in person and whatnot.
Right.
But what about, has there ever been a time where you reached out to someone who maybe was like a step above you, where you were like, I really want to get something from this, and they weren't very receptive, and they were like, no, I'm not even answering my DM from this guy.
I don't know. I think I was really fortunate because like when I started reaching out to people that were a lot larger than me, I was probably big enough and on the cusp that people were willing to like make that connection. There's definitely a few people where like you just won't hear back.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. Like I don't expect everyone to want to reach back out or shoot with me or
Yeah.
even like talk. But it helps to have like mutual connections with these people. So like Mike knows like damn near everybody you could ever want to talk to. Like Mike shot with people with like millions and millions of followers and like does this on a regular basis. Or then like the guy that I shot with in Singapore all the time who like showed me around is like the biggest photographer in Singapore. So like he has
that's pretty
connections all
sweet.
over Asia. So these people are just able to like be like, oh, he'll like vouch for you. Cool. Like I'll talk to you. I'll meet with you. And so like just kind of like leveraging those connections has really helped me like expand my network. And I think even like you've been able to benefit from things like that because
Yeah, that was probably the biggest difference between me and him is that he did all the networking and then all of my networking was his networking. So like I'm friends with his Singapore photographer. I know Mike like pretty much through him, met him technically.
Yeah.
He fucking told me to fuck off, but
He follows
Met
you
him a
now.
second
He follows
time
you
through
now.
him, I
Yeah,
guess.
he follows you now.
well, like we met like everyone I've met that I know is through him, but like he knows there's so much more that he knows. So like that's one of the reasons he blew up is like one, he's good. 2, he had a unique style. Like, there are people who are colorful, and there are people who had his, like, kind of lifted black look, but no one kind of made it work the way he did.
Yeah.
And then he was just traveling everywhere. He was, like, when he was in Germany, he's like, yep, I'm in Paris this weekend. Yep, I'm in Switzerland this weekend. He's just everywhere, and I was just like, Jesus. So he's getting all these famous spots, and he's just posting all these fucking things. And meanwhile, he's like reaching peak level of his editing style and figuring it out. And like he's meeting everyone. It was just all coming together. Whereas I was like, the difference for me is like I was in Virginia, and it was like, I was like, damn, bro, this shit's crazy. But like in terms of, so like, but that's like the weird thing is like he had this like kind of weird audience that followed everywhere. Whereas like I was like, okay, I kind of have a Chicago following, and then I went to Virginia, and Chicago was like, all right, fuck you. We're not going to like these landscape photos. That's not the Sears Tower. Get out of here. Yeah. But then, like, all of a sudden it was like, oh, everyone in Virginia was like, hey, this is a good photographer. He shoots the mountains that I like to look at and live in. And then I built, like, a following there. And I'd go home for Chicago, and I'd be like, oh, dope. The people that follow me from Chicago are going to be like, oh, cool, Chicago stuff. I post it. And they were like, no, we forgot about you. And then Virginia was like, nope, not a mountain. Fuck you. And I was like, what the fuck do these people want?
Can't please everybody.
So like he had the thing where it was everywhere. He was shooting cool shit, famous shit, and everyone was like, I know what the fuck that is, and I live in Kansas. This is dope. Where it was like, I was like, this is a random fucking house on the side of a road in Virginia. Yeah. You ever see it? And the guy in Kansas like, looks like my fucking neighbor's house. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he just had everything kind of hit all at once, and then it was just like, and blow up.
Yeah, and posting that consistently is going to help.
Exactly,
for sure.
Exactly. Because it's not enough to just be good at photography on Instagram.
I feel like it's not good enough to just be good at anything right now anymore. When it comes to like content, like you have to be putting it out consistently as well, which is really, I mean, I think it's good. It shows like who's got the like endurance to really do it, I guess. But then I guess too, you're gonna start playing into that when work, like your hobby becomes work then, and then
burnout too. Just on top of that, I mean, I guess one of the other things to like touch on what he's saying is like getting recognition from like some of the companies themselves. So like Sony, the actual Sony page itself has posted my work I think like 3 or 4 times.
God, that's gotta feel awesome.
And like
viral multiple times.
Yeah, so like I had like a photo that went like insanely viral at one point, and I think
what photo was that?
Taxi cab.
Should I pull it up?
Yeah.
Or you want you have your phone handy?
Yeah,
Why don't you just pull it up?
If we end up using this as a highlight, I'll put it on the screen right now.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, but this photo went like completely viral. Like millions of people were using it. Like I'm pretty sure that like in the New York community, people have been trying to like replicate the photo, and no one's done it. Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah, doesn't Jonathan have this up on his
Yeah,
wall?
he has it on his wall.
That's the one I want to get printed.
Yeah, we can do it.
I'll do it.
100%. But yeah, that photo went insanely viral. Like
if they can see it, I'll put it up on the screen later. But yeah.
Yeah, Sony posted that and like a handful of my other photos, and that's what propelled me, I would say. That was like the turning point where I went from like, I was probably around like 7,000, and then I got like 3 or 4 of those in the course of like a few months, and I was like at like just 11, like it's so quickly. So,
God, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's gotta be. What's your favorite photo that you've taken that didn't catch? That like maybe didn't really do anything numbers wise, but you're just really proud of, like really. And it's all subjective, but like in your mind.
Yeah. For me, when we went to Banff, we hiked Lake O'Hara, which was, I don't know, 12, 13 miles one way just to get to this point. And like, we were just like happy to get there. And when we got up there, it was like raining and you couldn't see anything. And it was like overcast. And we're like, well, we just did this for nothing. Like, this sucks. We're not even going to get any pictures. And then like 20 minutes later, the clouds just like part. And it's just like the craziest view I've ever seen in my life. There's like 5 lakes down below, like perfectly surrounded by like mountains and peaks. And like, even though like I didn't put like a crazy edit or anything on it, like just the experience behind that photo. Yeah, this place here.
Oh yeah, that's insane.
That's crazy place.
Yeah,
and that was like 12 miles to get there.
Yeah, it's just to get up there, and then like I probably shot like I bet I shot like 4,000 images or something, but not literally that many. Probably like hundreds of images though when I was at that spot, just like knowing I'm probably never coming here again.
Yeah,
yeah, it's one of these places. It's a 7 or 8 mile hike, or it's like a gravel road up to the lakes and the lodges, and they only sell bus tickets or bus trips to that. It opens one day a year to sell the tickets, and it sells out immediately just in case, because people are like, well, don't want to miss out. I don't want to walk it.
Yeah,
but we're like, we don't have fucking tickets, obviously, so we have to walk up there, and we went up there like late as fuck, like. To where it was like, are we going to make it back before the bus comes down? Are we going to have to hike back in the dark? There's a sign right here that says this is a high active bear area. Like,
my
are we gonna?
God.
Yeah.
He was like,
I didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
I'll be
he's like,
fully
I don't-
transparent, I did not want to do
he's
it.
like, I don't think we should do it.
Me.
And I was like, dude, there's no fucking bears.
He didn't care. He just wanted to go. He
Damn,
just,
dude.
if
I
he
was
had
like,
died,
dude,
he didn't
I was
care.
like, we'll just fucking go now. And if there's any bears, you got bear, or like Ed's got bear spray. Like, it'll be fine.
I would not want to put my life in bear sprays.
And if you met Ed, you would not want to put that bear spray in
Oh,
Ed's
no.
hands.
Yeah, you would want to just Ed with bear spray. You're like, oh my god, we're just gonna die.
yeah,
Let's just
fuck.
say we were eating somewhere in Canada, and the waitress was like, so like, hi, how's it going? She's like talking to Ed, and Ed's like, thinks she's cute, and she's like, so like, what's up, guys? How's it going? He goes, I'm from Tucson. And you're like,
got game.
bro, Ed, what the fuck? But yeah,
Yeah.
so it's that long ass 8-mile road, and then from there it's like 2 or 3 miles just to the actual peak where you can get that picture. And it was just fucking, we like hauled ass. We're like, we got to get there before it's dark. We got up there, we got down, we just barely caught the bus, had to pay a little more, got to hike back down, didn't have to hike back down another
Yeah.
8 miles.
Jesus,
But it just
that's
overall-
fortunate, for
That
sure.
place though is fucking beautiful. So try to get the bus, but like if you don't,
can't,
you don't have to go there, but like try to go there and try to get the bus, because it's like, would I recommend the hike? Fucking no way. Because they're like, it's like a pretty level gravel road. Dude, that shit's fucking not level.
No.
Steep and
We were
Yeah.
lying to.
Yeah.
Literally like that, like almost the entire way.
It's like, dude, you ever been in the Midwest? You know what flat is? You fucking dicks.
Yeah.
Like, this was not
This
flat.
is not flat.
And it's like, I think it was like the 7 to 8 kilometer area, and like the fucking road is just fucking up.
It's straight up.
And you're like, bro. Ed has like a metal knee and shit because he almost died in like a motorcycle accident. He's like, guys, I don't know if I can do this.
Oh
I'm like, dude, you got the fucking bear spray. You gotta,
Yeah,
you
you
gotta
have
do
to.
this.
Yeah, we don't have
You're
a
not-
choice.
yeah,
We
you-
can't leave you
you're the one
behind.
we need. So
God, dude.
yeah, that place was fucking beautiful. So
I can imagine that. I mean, it sounds like fun, even just the hiking part. I mean, it's scary and terrifying and awful.
Good
as it is.
story.
Yeah, definitely fun. Fun to relive in a story, I guess,
Yeah.
as opposed to actually rewalking it. and-
Yeah, I don't think I would ever do the walk again. I would just do the bus, especially now that we've been. It's
Yeah.
Like,
there is a chance if you show up at the bus times that there's an empty seat and you can do it, but you have to be there and it's not guaranteed.
Christ.
So try that. Like, do the early bus in the early day and then be like, all right, didn't work. Have a backup plan. Let's go fuck around somewhere else. So
Fuck
that's
yeah.
the way to do
It's
it.
a little risky for me. I don't
Lake
know if I'd do it.
O'Hara.
yeah, Lake O'Hara.
All the shit up there is super close together, so you can be like, well, if it doesn't work out, we can just do
Do
all this other shit.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. What I asked Dylan this when he was on the show. I want to ask you this, Jordan. What is it about photography specifically as like an art or even, as a passion, a hobby that draws you in as opposed to other things and other arts and whatnot?
Yeah, definitely. So I think you had a similar response to this. It's just kind of like freezing a moment in time that I can reminisce about and just like know that like, hey, I was there, I took this. This isn't just some like random photo off Google. Like this is an experience that I had. And knowing that like in like years down the line when I reminisce about this stuff, I can be like, damn, I remember what that looks like in my mind, not just like what a photo looks like. Because there's so much about photos where it's like you can misrepresent what something actually looks like with like perspective or like focal length or there's just a variety of tools you can use. But like knowing what things actually look like and having like an experience tied to that item.
Yeah, even like the story you just mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can look at photos from all over the world and be like, damn, I remember like how I got there, why I got there, who I was with. Like it's just so much more rewarding to me than other art forms. And there's nothing wrong with other art forms. It's
Yeah.
like this is just the one that really appeals to me because
Yeah.
like even now I find myself being into like other art forms that aren't even remotely as enriching as that, at least on a personal level to me. But yeah, that it's just the experiences that come with everything just makes it that much more enriching.
Shit, got me want to take photos again.
Yeah.
See, I haven't gone out and taken photos in months, but like talking about this stuff's like, damn, I wish COVID wasn't going on so I could go out because like that was like about a year ago. I think we went in August
Really?
to Banff, so, and that was really the last time. Well, I guess no, I went to Asia in December, but since then I've not like gone anywhere like specifically to take photos. Like that Banff was the last time I actually was like, we're going here, we're taking photos, and just like having like good experiences.
And that's
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful places in the world. So that's like, you just like, fuck. Like, I miss that shit.
What do you pack for a long shoot? If you're going out all day to go shoot, you guys are picking a place that you're going to drive up there and just shoot all day and hang out and have good times like you're saying. What do you guys pack for like snacks or like what comes with you? What's in your bag other than the camera and that equipment?
We went to Door County. We went to Quick Trip, and you just got a bunch of random shit.
Yeah,
But usually I'm like, if I'm going to Chicago for a day, it's like, well, I'll just bring my backpack and some money, and that's it.
You'll just dine in Chicago.
Yeah,
then?
I usually just get Chick-fil-A or some shit. I'm not like, I need to get deep dish pizza because I'm a white man visiting the city.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, let's get some Chick-fil-A. It's all good. But yeah, but for that, like
Like when you got to go hiking, when you got to kind
Oh,
of
if
be
we're
off the
going
beaten path.
hiking-
Like what do you bring for food?
he's probably a lot more prepared than me. I'm just like, I'm gonna bring my camera bag and stuff as many water bottles in the gaps as I can.
Yeah.
And then usually I'm like, motherfucker, I ran out of water. I'm really thirsty. And everyone's like, should have brought more water. I'm like, yeah,
Fuck, yeah.
I know. But I don't. You've been to like Yosemite and shit. So
Yeah. The biggest thing, headlamp. Got to have a headlamp with you or some sort of flashlight, because in the event that you come down in the dark, like you need to make sure that you're prepared for something like that. So I'd say like that. I usually bring some sort of like snack, like it's like either like trail mix or almonds of some sort, because they're really calorie dense. So something like that. I think that's exactly what we brought on the Lake O'Hara hike, the really long one. So we had
Especially
like
walking that many miles, you need something like
yeah, exactly. So it was like that. Water's like definitely the main thing. You can survive with like pretty much nothing but water. That's really all you need. Because like I'll starve on something like that just to keep the weight down, because like I'll carry as much camera shit as I can just to avoid having like other shit. Like I don't care if it's heavy. I'm like, all right, I'll go with the bare minimum and my camera shit.
Yeah.
Like that's the most important part. But yeah, like I would say like like almonds or something, water, headlamp.
Bear
Usually like
spray, maybe.
the bear spray is like was specifically for that.
Yeah.
A multi-tool definitely is something that I would recommend. Like I finally got one of those and I took advantage of having that. They're hard to travel with though. That's the only thing. I think you have to check it. I don't think you can actually carry on something like that.
Oh, really?
Because it's like considered a weapon. Because I mean, they have like knives and corkscrews and
Yeah.
things on them, so you really can't.
It's not a weapon. but
Right,
it's
exactly.
not-
But
yeah.
it's like same with like you can't take a fucking hairdryer on a plane.
Yeah.
Like you have to check that. Like who the what are they gonna fucking beat you to death with a hairdryer?
exactly,
Like dude, what
dude.
the fuck is with that? There's so many things like that. But yeah, I would say those are probably my 4 essential items. Outside of that, I can't really think of anything else offhand.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What how do you guys decide like when you want to go? I mean, other than like when you're traveling and you're in these places, and even I mean, I guess even when you are, how do you choose like a specific location? Is it just kind of seeing other people's work and like in a location, you're like, oh, I want to go try and do that, or do something like that, or how do you guys decide like where's the place I want to go shoot?
this is where me and him are very different.
Okay.
Polar opposite
Okay, let's hear it.
So I am like most of when I was in Virginia, I think I talked about it last time, is that I was just like, nice day outside, kind of there's some fog, and I just get in my car and I drive and I go and I just end up places. Or he'll be like, you want to go to Door County today? And I'll be like, fuck it. You want to go to Canada in August? And it's like 6 months before, and I'm like, yeah, I actually have money for once. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's either I'm fucking in going places because
Yeah.
someone's like, you want to go? And I'm like, all right, whatever. But most of the time, I'm like, this is a cool area in Virginia. Maybe I'll head up that way.
Yeah.
If I'm driving around in the middle of nowhere and just casually looking for things, I'm like, oh, I saw this on Google. I know where I am. Or, oh, I'm like near here. I can go check out this waterfall.
Yeah.
But I'm not a very prepared person. I'm not like looking up, oh, this exact thing is sick. I need to go shoot this. I would like go to a city and be like, I know like some shit, but like I just want to walk around and see what the fuck's going on, shoot things that I find.
So you're that guy at the gym that just kind of goes in and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do some curls, and you're like, all right, now I'm feeling. I'll do
Yeah.
some squats over there. Now I'm
Exactly. Yeah.
feeling it. You kind of instinctively.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
shooting,
analogy. I'm
instinctively
just like,
training.
fuck it, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. And I get some
Well,
cool
you
shit
get a
out
lot
of
of
it.
good shit out of it.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Versus my approach is like going in, I pretty much know everything I'm trying to get out of something. So I'll do a lot of research like up front and be like, okay, all these spots look really cool to me. I want to go see that with my own eyes and like have this experience.
Yeah.
So I take a lot of inspiration from others' works. Like I don't claim to be some like artist that's like gonna change the world or anything. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like, that looks really dope, that guy did that, I want to put my own spin on something like that. So what I do is just a lot of research on like certain areas and certain spots and be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna hit all those spots, and here's like what my take's gonna be and like how I'm gonna edit it.
What's something you look for?
I don't know, I feel like it's like I just like look at something and if it like catches my eye, I'm like, yes, that's it. Versus like it's very arbitrary. I don't really think there's anything like specific that
Just kind of
that stands out.
kind of like instinctual, almost like what you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like kind of funny when we did the Banff trip, it was like the perfect storm of like how he shoots and how I shoot. So I had a bunch of spots that I was like, yeah, we should probably hit these spots. These are super dope. We might not come here again. And then we were just like driving around aimlessly around this entire like Banff Jasper area. And we'd just be like, hey, that mountain looks dope. Let's just pull off on the side of the road and shoot it. So
Yeah.
there was a very good balance. Yeah, so it was kind of cool because like I hadn't shot in quite some time even before that trip, and like he was able to kind of like pull me out and make me like shoot a little bit differently, and it was a lot more enjoyable than my typical spot to spot to spot approach.
yeah. So one of the perks I'd say of us shooting together after a while is that I did not get burnt out in Virginia because I was super casual about it, whereas he was traveling the world, going to a city. He's like, I got 8 hours before I have to get to the next city. So he's got from Instagram, like, I need to go this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, and he goes, and he did that all over the world. So he told me, he's like, I'm fucking burnt out. He's like, honestly, he's like, I gotta take a break. He's like, I don't really care anymore. Damn, yeah. Door County was really the first place where we were just kind of were like, well, we just gotta take pictures, and he just, it was the first time he fully did my kind of shooting where I'm like, fuck, pull over, those trees look dope. And he's like, oh yeah, you're right, those are cool. So like then it kind of rejuvenated him, and then it was like kind of like a prep for Canada. So it was definitely super nice because he even told me like he was getting himself burnt out, and it was just like I was like, well, fuck, that's kind of sad because the only guy I shot with him, he's like barely even wanted to shoot photos anymore. So then when I like realized, I was like, oh well, if he shoots my way a couple times, maybe it'll realize like, oh, do shooting more for shooting. Focus less on like the Instagram side because it can swallow you up, especially if you're fucking shooting up in followers. It's like then it can be like, oh fuck, that's the bad part about the constant content. Yeah, is that you're like, fuck, I need to give them content.
Yeah, and too, I'm sure especially with growing the page and whatnot. Even when I kind of asked you, kind of a shitty question now, thinking back on it, when I asked you like, what was your favorite picture that you had that didn't really go. It's tough sometimes as you're doing things online that when you get this amount of likes or this amount of views on something, then you almost value it at that as opposed to which one was actually your favorite or which one, like the experience and all that other things. And I think that's kind of what you're touching on with the whole getting swallowed up in it, because I've had that happen before where I was like, I'm just making videos where we did a skit and I was like, dude, that was so funny. I'll still laugh at it. And it, got like, 100 views or something stupid. And it's like, then this other video is, a couple thousand, and I'm just like, damn, maybe that one sucked. And you do kind of get caught up in it, I feel like, when you're on the train of just doing it over and over again. A lot of shit.
Yeah, I definitely remember years ago when we were just starting, like, man, I don't really care about the likes. It doesn't matter to me. And then a year later, I'm like, wow, I really cared about the likes then. I don't really care about the likes now. And then a year later, I'm like, damn, I still kind of cared.
Yeah.
And like, I really don't care now. And then like a year later, I'm like, I fucking still kind of cared. And now I feel like I'm actually at a point where I'm like, I don't fucking care. I literally post. We'll that's what I'm saying. Like, I posted a photo like 2 days ago that I was like, they're gonna fucking hate this. Like, Instagram's gonna be mad. Like, they're gonna hate that I posted this, and they're not gonna like it. And I was right. And I was like, haha, like, fuck you. Like, it was almost like a spite thing. But I guarantee I'm gonna look back and be like, why the fuck did I care that they didn't like it?
Yeah.
Like, why do I care that they like it or not like it? Like, there's just still some level where deep down you still kind of give a fuck.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
And it's definitely tough because it's like when you're creating things for even. At the end of the day, like when you guys go to take those pictures and you guys have these, enriched experiences where you can come here and tell me with a smile about, this hike and all this other shit, this ad guy with the bear spray, like that, no amount of likes can make that better or worse for you guys.
Right.
And I think like even myself, dude, I get caught up in that with music and stuff like that where we'll drop a song and I'm like, dude, I love this fucking song. I still love this song. And obviously, every picture, I'm sure you're trying to be better than the last one. And every song, I'm trying to get better than the last one. But it's interesting with that whole dilemma of like likes and views and things like that and how it kind of affects our brains.
Yeah, the problem is that it does feel good when them performs. That's the thing. It's like you cannot care, but when it still does good, you're like, oh, cool.
I'm worth something.
They like my shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Mom, check this shit out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that immediately just is going to throw off anything.
Should Insta take the like button away, says Duncan Marshall.
I think that I wouldn't say not the like button, but I know that they like hide it now. So it's like, it just says like so many and others. I don't know if that's for everyone. It's definitely on my, on my page, at least. I know it does that for like my main photography account, whereas like my like more personal one, I can still see everything. So I don't know if it's like driven by like random accounts or if it's like if you have a business account it hides it. Yeah. But like I know that like I can't see other people's now. It just says so and so and others liked this.
Yeah.
I think people want to think that it will do more than it actually will.
Yeah.
People think that like, oh, if we take away the like button, like, oh, social media is gonna fucking change. Like we're gonna become more in touch. It's like, no, dude. You just don't know how many other people like it. You're still gonna post your shit, being like, oh, I hope all these people see it. You're gonna post for yourself and like to get that gratification, like because you're still gonna see like, hey, blank like your photo. Yeah. You're gonna get all those. It's just the only difference now is like other people aren't gonna see like, oh, fucking holy shit, 4,000 people like this photo.
You're not addressing the insecurity behind
it. Yeah, it's like, and it's only one network. So it's
Yeah.
like, even if they remove the like button, it's like, what about the follow button?
Yeah.
What about the
Are you gonna start
followers?
hiding my followers
Yeah,
and
so
hiding everything else?
It's
then
like, if
too?
you fully got rid of the whole like thing, it's like people are still going to post, people are still going to get followers. It's like there's still going to be something there to validate someone, and it's not going to change as much as people want.
Yeah.
It's like social media at this point, you can't fucking, there's not a lot you're going to be able to do. It's going to be hard to backtrack. It's like, you just
Yeah, I
got to
don't know
accept
what
this
you
is
can
how
do.
it's going to be. We got to figure out how to cope with it, not try to change it. It's like, it's kind of too far gone.
I kind of agree with you too, because I've been I've definitely been dealing with a little bit of like social media like anxiety and shit like that lately. It's just been, because you're stuck in that hole of like you're trying to make people enjoy the things that you make, like, or not make them, but you're hoping that they will, and then when they don't, or if they do, you're just kind of so up and down, high and low from that, and it's not healthy at all. And
No, not at all.
it's
And
tough.
the thing is, it's not like it make any fucking sense. These algorithms don't make any sense.
Oh, they don't, dude. None of them do.
Fucking, I remember like 4 years ago, I was getting so many fucking likes.
Well, they would show it to everybody that
Yeah.
followed you.
I had one that was like, boom, you almost got 1,000 likes. I was like, holy shit, I only got like 1,500 followers. And
Yeah.
then like, they did a bot bust, and then boom, everything's gone. My next photo is like a third of the amount of likes, a fourth of the amount of likes.
Well, and they changed it now where it's like it shows them only a percentage of your followers will see your post.
Yeah,
And
it's
so-
like they just keep trying to change shit around. That's why, like, me and him would get discouraged back in the day because we'd be like, what the fuck do we have to post to get the algorithm? Like, why am I seeing this post that fucking blows? This photo sucks.
yeah,
How come I'm seeing it, but I know that the person that posted that is not seeing mine, and I know my photo's better than that?
yeah,
It's like, how come this guy is getting all this attention? So it's like the algorithm never made any sense, and it just discourages you. You're like, well, if there's all these shitty photographers, and what the fuck's the point of even trying to post my shit?
exactly.
So then it just it burns you out, and then you come back and you're like, I don't fucking care anymore. So
Yeah.
now I'm like, yeah, that guy just fucking, he sucks, but like, whatever. For some
Whatever,
reason, people like it. Just fucking let it go.
Yeah,
But I'm like, this is my shit. If you want to see it, look at it. I don't fucking care.
yeah.
like-
I don't know what they're looking for in these algorithms anymore. I
I don't
know TikTok got in a lot of trouble. I don't know if you guys are on TikTok, but it got in a lot of trouble because they like blocked anybody that was, or not blocked, but they like didn't push anybody that was posting BLM stuff for like the first like 3 days, and then it came out that they actually like did it on purpose.
Yeah, dude, TikTok's
And-
fucked.
TikTok. It's
Yeah.
'cause
I've
it's
read
China-
some
it's
shit.
Chinese, right?
Yeah,
There was,
CCP.
it's literally
Yeah.
like a fucking owned by a company that's ran by the government of like China, basically.
And they're trying to like, it's like there's a big, I thought there was a big thing with like facial recognition of some sort that they were
Would
trying
not
to.
doubt
Yeah, I
it.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised.
Like the
but-
military
yeah.
can't use it, and like there was like a dude on Reddit who like literally works on apps for a living and like tears them down, figures out how they work, and he was like, don't let anyone you know use this app. He was
Christ.
like, it tracks way more data than any other social media site you've ever used. He's like, I was fucking blown away. It's honestly crazy. And then the other thing that he found out, this is like kind of clever to me, but your first TikTok, they kind of pump that shit up. They
Oh,
push
yeah.
it out
Yeah, they
so that
do.
you get some likes, and then you try to chase that high, keep posting.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck, that's fucked up, but it's genius.
They do it too. Somebody else that obviously I don't know personally, but that does a similar thing made a video on YouTube breaking it down, and it was it's like there's like a 33% chance that they'll push one of your videos, and it'll be like way shitty. Like people literally repost the same video 3 times. Like they'll post 2 ones that they know won't really do anything. If they're like, these are like the big mega like TikTok star people, they'll post a couple, post the one they think it's gonna blow up. If it doesn't get pushed, they take it down, put another like filler one in, then try that again in 3 posts.
Damn.
And it gets pushed, and it's fucking weird, dude. It makes no sense, but they want you, yeah, because like I think I had one because we got on it a while back, and I was just doing like stupid little videos on it, and like my third one gets like 127,000 like views, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And then I have another one. The only one that I actually thought was funny that like I look back now and I'm like still like, oh, that's kind of funny, was this like Avengers joke one where it was the scene of Cap getting the hammer, and it was like we had a hammer, like a little mallet, and it said like virginity on it, and then it was like all these people trying to pick it up because they didn't have their virginity, and then I caught it, and it like that one went viral, and it actually like, so that one has like 300 some thousand, and
Jesus
then
Christ.
yeah, I just no idea why though. Like it was like, I mean, it was kind of funny, but like it just blew up, and like people were like using the sound and shit because you can like save sounds on TikTok, and then you can like lip sync over it.
Got it.
So it was super weird. But yeah, I noticed that was like I had posted 3 times like that was a third post. So if you like go on my timeline, it's like every 3 gets a little bit more. And I was
That's
like,
so
fuck,
weird.
dude.
That's creepy.
Weird,
It is creepy, dude, that they're fucking watching it like that.
they nailed it in terms of like getting people addicted to an app. Like
Oh yeah.
the way they set it up got kids just fucking sucking that app
Dude,
off.
and it goes to the like you watch a video and it after it finishes it goes to the next one. Like you have to like pull it back
Really?
down
You can't
to
even
like
stop
Yeah,
it?
like, I've
it'll,
never
like,
been on
Yeah,
the
If
app.
you literally,
have
if I
I've
pulled
never
it up,
used it.
if I pulled it up, like if you watch TikTok, it ends. It'll just like
Just autoplay.
yeah. It used to just like keep going. I think they changed it actually recently, but I know I haven't been on it in a while, and it every time you watch a video, you hit play, and they're like only 5 to 15 seconds. Sometimes
Right.
people can go longer. I think that's kind of giving it a little bit like of a second life here instead of like kind of how Vine ran its course and whatnot. And Vine was awesome. I miss Vine.
I love Vine. I miss
yeah.
Vine.
Yeah, Vine was
I hate
dope.
people that tweeted about Vine 2 years after Vine was done, though.
Dude,
That's fair. I
That-
agree
that's
with
that's
that.
true.
That's
That's true.
fair.
That's true. I just some of my favorite YouTubers were Viners, so that's why I got to give respect where respect's due.
There were
So-
just so many people that would like reference a Vine and be like, I don't know. And they'd be like, you don't fucking know Vine, idiot. And I'm like, whoa.
wow, dude. I hope
What
people
the
aren't.
fuck?
People
The
aren't
reason I
still
like
that.
Vine is I feel like Vine really fueled what YouTube haiku has become on Reddit.
Ah, dude, yeah, YouTube haiku is really good.
YouTube haiku.
It's a
what is that?
subreddit.
It's a
It's
subreddit.
fucking
Okay.
hilarious.
It's fantastic.
Oh, I gotta get on that. The only subreddit or the only Reddit like subreddit I'm on is the roast me, and we did a video where we got roasted, and
I
it was
see.
very brutal. Yeah, people were really mean, and like I didn't understand it. I had just gotten Reddit, so I didn't understand how mean people were. But it was it was awesome. It was funny as fuck.
Oh, you're tearing up over there.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. It was good to get ripped a new one. But
Reddit has weird insults, though.
Yeah.
They like to do that, like, I would never be able to say this in person because you'll cut me off before I get to finish it kind of insults.
yes, like
Hey, man, you're fucking, you look like you're deep in despair and you can tell that your father, and you're like, dude, all right.
yeah, it's like no, dude. This is
Slow
like a
down,
roast.
man.
Like what would you say to
Just
me?
call
like,
me an idiot or something in like a fun way.
Exactly.
It's too long.
Yeah, someone told me that cocaine is not a personality, and I don't know why.
That's a good one.
I really
That's a
like
good
that,
one.
dude. I
That's
like,
quality.
yeah, I was dying when I heard that one. But okay, so I want to. What was your favorite place to shoot again? I think I asked
I think
you.
I said Banff.
I think you thought
I
it
said
was.
Banff.
Banff.
That
What,
shit
and
was
what
crazy.
about for you?
Oh, that's tough. In terms of like more like landscape, like outside mountainous photography, it's between Banff and Yosemite for sure. I think I've been to Yosemite like 6 or 7 times now. And like every time I go there, I do something different, and I'm always just like blown away.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably a toss up between there and Banff. Obviously, I haven't been to Banff that many times. If it was closer, I'd probably go that many times as well.
Yeah.
So probably that, and then in terms of like city stuff, just like anywhere in Asia. Like I feel like once I went to Asia, cities just don't feel the same.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Like Chicago. Like Chicago felt so small when I came back from Asia. I was like, I
Really?
can't even believe this is a city. Like it's tiny.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So like
are the cities just bigger, or is there just a lot more people?
a lot more people. They're bigger. I mean,
Tokyo fucking massive.
Tokyo is insane.
God, I
Like
can
Tokyo is like you think that like you've been to a city and then you go to Tokyo and the city just never ends. Like imagine if like the Loop in Chicago existed like copied like I don't know 10,000 times.
Jesus.
That's what
Christ.
Tokyo feels like. Like you just ride the metro around everywhere and you like get off and you're like, oh, we're still in the city, and I was on the train for 2 hours.
Jesus, dude.
Dude, he would come back from there, and I'd be like, dude, let's go shoot. Let's go to Chicago. And I'd be like, man, fuck Chicago. And I was like,
Fuck.
okay. It's the only city
Damn.
I've been to. So I was like, I just wanted to shoot. And he's like, no.
It's not worth it, man. You gotta step up to the
I'm like,
plate.
I'm so sorry. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, all right, Chicago's cool, but yeah, it's pretty fucking small.
Yeah.
It is a small city. It's big, but also pretty fucking small.
What's something different in Tokyo than as opposed to an American city, other than the sheer size?
I would say like the hospitality of like just the people there. Like I had no idea where I was going on the metro sometimes, and like there would be people who didn't speak a lick of English that would just bust their ass to make sure I got on the right route and would find my way.
Really?
Yeah, it was just incredible how nice everybody was, and like in terms of like even like getting on and like finding a seat or space or anything, like it just felt like everyone was super accommodating.
That's
about-
that's weird.
Architecture and neon. Those are two things that I feel like would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very fair. He brings up good points in terms of like the actual shooting itself within like other places in Asia. It's definitely the style of architecture they have is all very futuristic, which is like something
Like
I
cyberpunk-
just
you've seen the cyberpunk trailers? and
yeah
whatnot,
exactly.
too,
So yeah, exactly. It feels like that where it's like it looks super futuristic at nighttime, and then during the day you go out and you're like, holy fuck, this is actually like really gritty.
Yeah.
And so like that balance of like being able to shoot like the gritty feel during the day and then like the futuristic night stuff when the sun drops is just like the perfect combination for me.
And so is a lot of neon then? A lot of neon lights on businesses and whatnot?
Yeah, I would say Hong Kong definitely used to be like insane, but like now that I guess the neon stuff was deemed like pretty dangerous for when they have like monsoons and stuff, it would like actually
makes
fall
sense.
down. It's like very dangerous. So they've removed a lot of stuff and now it's more like LED, so it's not like that classic neon like glow where you like hear that like buzzing sound at night.
Yeah.
It's like more like just like a computer screen.
Gotcha.
So that change is happening rather rapidly, but I would say Hong Kong in terms of like shooting neon, you go to like, it's funny, the district's literally called the Jordan District, and it's just
Okay.
all neon signs.
Wow, that works out pretty nice for you.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until I got there, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna go to Jordan." I'm like, "Huh?" And they're like, "Yeah, trust me, you'll see." And it's just like all neon signs.
God, that's awesome. What's your guys' editing process like? I don't think we really got into editing when you were on, Dylan, but I want to know like how was it like
think so. Maybe a little bit.
a little bit, but what is like how did your editing process evolve? Like what did it start? I know we talked about like you using the phone to begin with, and then like where is it now? Like what's your average workflow?
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of like how I bring things in, I usually like have like a few presets that I will like look between and see like, hey, which one of these fits this photo best. So for people watching, a preset is basically a set of predetermined settings that just automatically apply to a photo. So it'd be like a certain tone curve or like a certain exposure adjustment or like a certain color adjustment. And you can just save those and then just like rapidly like reproduce them.
Yeah.
So I usually have like 4 or 5 of those that I'll like look between and be like, all right, which one's like my best starting point for this photo? And then I'll go from there, and then I'll just make small color adjustments or like exposure adjustments, and then make sure everything looks clean. And then I'll export into Photoshop. And then when I'm in Photoshop, I'm really doing like a lot of super fine tuning. Like I'm like only adjusting like certain areas of the photo where I'm either like masking everything out and making like a small color change, or just like removing dust from the photo or any imperfections, like things that maybe make symmetry look off.
Yeah.
Straightening lines, things like that. So like it's kind of like I wouldn't say tedious workflow. Like getting through Lightroom's actually like super efficient now. It's like Photoshop where actually I'm spending most of my time just kind of like you said, like being a perfectionist. That's where I'm kind of like making sure everything looks how I want it to look.
Yeah.
That's definitely another big difference between us, is that I don't really fuck with presets too much.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also why I spend a lot more time in Lightroom than him, because I start from scratch every time, and
Yeah.
I just kind of know the look I want. Like when I'm taking a photo, in my head, I already see how I want that photo. Like I can literally look at a sunset, look at like the waves, and be like, I know how I want this to look as a final photo.
You're already
And then
thinking of what settings you're going to be changing.
Like
and
not
everything.
necessarily settings, just like I know what this can look like, what I can make this look like. So I take that
Okay.
picture, I bring it in the Lightroom, and I just start from scratch. I do what I usually do, what I expect would be done to get to what I want, and then I'm like, okay, we're close. But I spend a lot more time in there, and then I go into Photoshop, and I don't do as much as him, but I still do some stuff in Photoshop, and I go back to Lightroom, and then that's usually where I'm like, okay, let's finalize everything.
Yeah.
But the thing, he does a lot of, like he said, he's doing a lot of masking and stuff in Photoshop. I do a lot of my selective editing, which is brushes and grad filters and radial filters in Lightroom. So it's like we're
Gotcha.
doing the same thing, but different ways, kind of.
Yeah.
His is a much more controlled, kind of like, it's gonna do exactly what I want it to do because I know how to use this tool. Because I think he got like a tool from like
Oh, right, bro.
yeah, so he has an actual Photoshop plugin where it's like I never got that plugin. So
Yeah.
it's like I never learned to do the Photoshop way. He does the Photoshop way.
Yeah.
But I can do the Lightroom. Like I get really specific in there with brushes and sizes and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's why I spent all this time at Lightroom.
I think the other thing that the main difference between him and I is I only shoot in like certain conditions. So like I know like when I can shoot when it works with like how my style is. So like it's very easy for me to be like, okay, I can go shoot this and it'll work with like whatever I'm trying to do. Whereas like for him, it's like he just shoots when he wants to shoot and whenever it looks good, and then he has to kind of take it like photo by photo. So like not that you don't shoot like thematic sunsets and stuff like that, but
Yeah. I shoot. I know when I can't shoot, but I will push towards that.
Yeah.
I'll be like, not perfect, whatever. I wish it would be better, but I think I can make this work in a different way.
Gotcha.
I think I could still see a style. Like, sure, it's kind of flat light. I can make this look pretty industrial and like kind of gritty.
What's the I'm always curious because there's so many tips and like rules, and I mean I've seen a lot of videos and I've been trying to like slowly get into more of the videography, picture, like photography side of things. What's like the biggest not misconception, but what was a rule of photography that you don't follow? That like that what is like the dumbest rule of photography? Because there's all these, there are all these different kinds of I don't know what you would. I guess they would just be called rules of photography.
There's like compositional rules, things like that.
Things
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
that's what you're alluding to.
That you maybe ignore or like that you don't normally use personally.
You want me to go? Yeah. So this was one actually only over the last couple years of shooting that I realized is I was very strict on shooting. Like we talked about my name f8. I would shoot in this very tight aperture range because I knew like that's what worked for me.
Yeah.
But then like as I've kind of evolved and shot more, I've learned like you don't necessarily need to be shooting in this range because it's like if it's like a perfect photo in terms of like, oh look, it's sharp front to back. That's not necessarily what good art is. Like sometimes breaking those rules and using like a really shallow depth of field in like a photo that you would normally see like front to back sharp can actually create like a super cool effect. Like I know Andrew Glatt, for example, shoots like all of his sunsets at like 2.8, which is like, if you were like talking to like a landscape photographer, I'd be like, dude, why would you do that? Like everything's soft, but then like it really works well for his look. It's got this like nice soft glowy look and he does a really good job with it. So I would say like learning to shoot outside of like that aperture range that I normally would shoot at is something that has helped me like at least advance my photography beyond where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the guy that shoots at 2.8 a lot. So I would just, because I like soft skies and soft sunsets and stuff, so I would just shoot not always at 2.8, but like he was always, especially so another thing is his camera was broken, and to change the aperture it was a bitch.
Oh, I forgot about
So he shot at f.8 because he was like, this shit covers everything and I don't want to fucking change it. So that was another big driver for that. But I would be like shooting photos at f2.8, and like my girlfriend who shoots portraits is like, don't ever fucking shoot at 2.8. You're gonna have their nose out of focus, their eye in focus, then the back of their ear out of focus, you dumbass. And I'm like, I don't shoot portraits. I'm like, I have blurry foregrounds all the time, but it's usually intentional because I don't want you to look directly at the foreground.
Yeah.
It's like that's kind of just to guide you in. But yeah, he was always shooting f8s and I was shooting f2.8. And when he realized that Andrew was shooting, he's like, that's how you get the sunset so soft. I was like, you didn't know that? I was like, maybe just because I always shoot at 2.8, not always, but like a lot of the time, because it's fucking dark out. Like I need all the light I can get. I definitely broke a lot of rules with that kind of stuff. Like I was like, I don't care if you say you need to be at this f-stop.
Yeah.
It's like I have shot a lot of photos at handheld where they're like, never shoot below this speed handheld. Where I'm like, I shot a fucking great photo, handheld, way slower than that.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's just things where people are like, you don't want to do that. It's not going to be sharp. And it's like, it doesn't need to be fucking perfectly sharp, dude. Like, I'm not trying to cut myself on my photo. Let me just fucking look at it. If I look at it and I like it and I don't notice, like, oh, fuck. Like, there's times where I'll be like, fuck, this one's too out of focus. But then there's other times where I'm like, it's really not that fucking bad. The part that's not perfectly sharp looks good. Everything works. You're looking on your phone, you fucking tap it for 2 seconds anyway. No one's going to care. I'm the one that notices that it's a little out of focus. It's okay. I still like the photo. That's a big one that I break. I'm like, I don't need it to be the sharpest fucking thing of all time.
Yeah. I have one last question for you guys, actually. What's up with Guy Fieri?
Oh,
What's
man.
up with your guys' obsession? I always like want to pretend like I know what's going on with the joke because he's just a funny looking guy, but I don't get what is specifically you guys post about him so often.
This one's out
Yeah, so this one's pretty organic actually. So my dad actually looks extremely similar to Guy Fieri. So it's like
Really?
that's how this kind of started. Like my dad has like the spiky blonde hair. He like wears the like funny bowling shirts. Like he's always been like that. This is like not something he like manufactured. It just like was like I saw the food show and I'm like, holy shit, that's my dad. And so like it just became this like running joke over time that like, yeah, like dude's my dad. And so like then he started making like all these fucking hilarious memes and I'm like, oh dude, this just couldn't get any better. So it's like we just started really abusing it.
Perfect storm.
And it's kind of just taken off from there.
And the biggest thing is he eats at Guy Fieri restaurants all the fucking time. He's a big food guy. So he's like always eating at like Triple D places. He's eating at like Guy Fieri owned restaurants like all the time. So he's like actually like a supporter, not just a memer. You know, he's legit. That's why I was like, we'll leave this to him Because, like, I'm here for the memes.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch the show. I liked Minute to Win It. I saw more episodes of that than I did of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yeah.
But, like, clearly he's a fucking meme, and he embraced it. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone was like, this dude's a meme. And then he was like, fuck yeah, I'm a meme. And we're like, oh, shit, this guy knows he's a meme. This
Yeah.
is sick.
Yeah.
And he's not even doing it in a cringy way. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it can be cringy to some people, but I was
Yeah.
like, I find this shit funny.
What's something you've had at one of his restaurants?
Oh man, that's
That you
like
really
that's
like.
literally such a hard question because I've been to so many.
Burger one you took me to.
Was it in California or?
What's something that yeah, if you were gonna like brag about that you ate of a restaurant that he owned?
Man, I have to like.
The lamb burger place.
Oh yeah, the Golden States. Yeah, so there's a place on Fairfax down in California where like the Supreme store and all that stuff is, and there's just like this random burger joint across the way, and they make like this fire lamb burger, and it's super good, and it's like just one of the ones that he had posted. But like yeah, it's like back to his point, like it wasn't just like he like looked like my dad. My dad watched his show all the time, and it became this running joke between my dad and I. I'd be like, "Oh, you're on TV tonight again," and like him and I would just like sit there and like shoot the shit and watch the guy actually like cooking stuff, and then like now he's got like Guys Grocery Games and all these other like fun game shows and shit, and it's just like to his point. Then I just like discovered the restaurants, and I'm like, oh, I want to try some good food, and I'm like, fuck it, this guy's like funny. I'll try some of his shit, and it's like almost all of them have been like fire.
Haven't you said that you try to go to one in every city you've been to or something?
Yeah, every time I travel now, I just like look up like restaurants from his shows, and I'm like, all right, I gotta at least try like one of these, and so I'll like find one and I'll go try it, and like they've literally never let me down.
Wow,
So it's been like it's just like a home run. So like highly recommend, like even if you're not a food person, just like Google like Triple D restaurants before you travel and just like give one a try.
Yeah, I found myself in a random diner in Chicago. Just my girlfriend was like, "You want biscuits and gravy? This place has biscuits and gravy. I heard it's good." We show up, Guy Fieri's on the wall, and we're like, "Holy fuck, this is one of those places."
Wow.
Send it to him immediately. He's like, "Fuck yeah."
Damn, dude, that's awesome. Why no food photography then from you guys?
That one I've not really thought about. I think plating things is actually extremely difficult. Like I don't think I could ever like cook and take photos because I just like don't have the aesthetic eye for something like that yet. Like my girlfriend's better at that than I am. So it's like it would be definitely something that would be interesting to get into. But I also don't want to like lug my camera on into like restaurants and be like that guy who's like pulls out a fucking $5,000 camera and takes a picture of his food. Like I just don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, if the camera eats first, phone eats first, or whatever the saying is.
I've seen like those what are they like life hack videos or whatever
There's
too.
a Triple D app. Triple D's app.
Oh shit!
Duncan Marshall.
Shout out
Plug
Duncan.
it
Yo,
in.
Duncan. Speaking of food, Duncan, when he was working at Dairy Queen, I used to show him, be like, "Can I get a 6-piece chicken strip basket?" And he'd fucking put like 12 in there. I'm like, "Bro,
Dude, all
holy
these- yeah,
shit!" I'm like,
all these
technically, I
Trooper
want more
kids.
fries, but I'll take the chicken too. So shout out to Duncan for that shit.
That's pretty sweet right there. No, that's all the Triever kids that work at that. I think pretty much everybody that works at that DQ. If you know somebody and you order something, they just supersize it basically,
yeah.
which is how it should be in fast food.
Hell yeah! I don't remember what the fuck I was saying now.
Something about
I'm talking about Triple D restaurants. That's all I know. You
yeah.
went to the one in.
in somewhere.
Where
You went to one in somewhere.
All right, well,
There's one in Kenosha. I can tell you that.
There is.
Really?
Yeah, Frank's Diner in Kenosha. Get
Oh,
the,
I've been there. It's
yeah,
really
dude.
good.
Get the garbage plate.
I never got that actually. I haven't had that.
Go
but-
if you go. It's fire.
Wow.
It's super good. Yeah, it's like a really tiny joint though. There's like it's
super dark in there.
probably it's like it feels like you're in like a mobile home. You like walk in and like go up the stairs and there's like a bar type thing you sit at and they cook behind it and then there's like a few booths behind that where you can sit. So like the line gets pretty long.
Yeah, I think we sat at a booth. I can't remember. I have to ask my mom. She's upstairs. We went together and it was really good.
Yeah, Frank's Diner though. That's if you anybody who's in Kenosha here definitely
He's
go
the
check
food
it out.
guy overall. If you're going to a city and you're like, "Yo, should I eat something?" He'll be like, "Yeah, go to this place." So
Wow, that's
I
cool.
definitely recommend him.
All the traveling things, it kind of just like all came together and manifested. And I've just learned a lot about random places. People will be like, "Oh, I'm going here. Got any recs?" And I'm like, "All right, let's go."
Yeah. Wow, that's nice. That's cool to be able to say that kind of stuff.
Yeah, especially because like, I mean, my parents haven't like traveled anywhere or anything, so it's like very like weird to be like, oh yeah, I've been to like I think I'm at like 24 countries now or something, and like my dad like only traveled for the military, so they're like, damn, that's pretty dope.
Flexing on them, flexing on your parents.
Yeah, dude, that's good. That means
got
they
you.
succeeded.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Do you guys got anything else for me? Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you need the people to know?
Yo, I fucking lied to you guys.
What's that?
I last time I said that my next hobby would probably be comedy.
Oh, that's right.
I am now into woodworking, so you know.
Yeah, that's really bad. So you should help us do the next ones, Mr. Marshall. We had like an hour to do it, and he was like, "I don't want my names attached to these."
And then you shouted him out anyways. I was like,
Yeah,
fuck you.
yeah, I had to, and now I'm doing it again, so he could suck it, I guess. But
Well,
no,
we could just say it's because his kid's in chat. There
yeah,
we go.
exactly. No, he's awesome, man. He just like showed us like how the fuck to do it. We brought the shitty wood with the fucking
How-
stuff.
what was your fucking methodology here?
Dude, I was like, Mr. Marshall, I have no idea how to do this. I just had a picture of a chat bubble, and I was like trying to put my logo in the middle of it, and I was like, can we do
Bandsaw,
this?
CNC.
Yeah,
What
well,
are we
that's
doing?
what-
Jigsaw.
I had a-
See that
I forgot what he brought out originally. I think he brought a bandsaw out originally, and fuck, dude, I don't even know my way around a wood shop. I don't know what it was. All of a sudden, I'm using the fucking one where I can just hold it, and that's what I used to cut all
Jigsaw,
these. Yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Hell
Because I
yeah.
think he brought the bandsaw out, and he was like, "Oh, this might be kind of hard for you. You could cut your finger off." And I was like, "Yeah,
Thanks.
probably." And he's like, "Just use this one." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then
Yeah.
we did that, and then Kevin sanded them, and Kevin got roasted for sanding them, and Duncan didn't really help at all. He just kind of chilled.
Nice, Duncan.
He's
Yeah,
yeah,
Duncan.
not putting on for the family woodworking name. But
Yeah, I just wanted to come clean.
Yeah.
I've not been doing stand-up comedy. I've been doing woodworking. It's a lot of money, but it's fun. So yeah.
What are you making?
The last thing I made was a fucking red oak box for my girlfriend
Was
for
that-
our anniversary.
Was that I saw a couple of things that you made on Facebook. I know there was like a box.
A lot of
with
cutting
the metal
boards.
thing.
There's been a lot of cutting boards. Yeah, the box and the
The
mallet.
box is dope.
Yeah.
Let me fucking this fucking box, dude. It's a nice ass box. I'll tell you that, dude. That's a red oak box right there.
It's the best box he's ever had.
Yeah, it's the best
Wow.
box I've ever had.
Wow, that is pretty nice.
I was
That's pretty
actually.
nifty.
I'm proud of this one. I can't
Yeah.
lie.
What so what are you like? Because that's what Mr. Marshall. He was like. I mean, we grabbed this piece of wood out of Tim's garage. Like I just like needed to cut a couple of those out, and just a random piece of fucking wood that was like the thickness that I wanted. And he's like, "Oh, it's got fucking names some sort of grain or whatever." I'm just like, "Yeah, it sounds really cool when you say it. I have no idea
right,
what you're talking
dude,
about." But what is
you're-
it what is it like? What's your favorite wood?
All right, here's this. You're gonna fucking not know what I'm talking about.
But
This
people
made
people
Kia,
that do.
This made Kia cry because she was like, "I love how into this you are," because I couldn't shut the fuck up about it. But like, all right, Home Depot doesn't have shit for hardwood.
Mm.
Hardwood is like, there's pine, coniferous or whatever. That's softwood.
Okay.
Hardwood's like oak. It's like deciduous trees, fucking maple, walnut, shit like that.
Okay.
Home Depot doesn't have shit. Home Depot's like, we'll give you fucking oak and poplar. Poplar looks kind of green. Fuck poplar. Oak,
Poplar.
it can be good. Oak look good on that box. Oak's
Yeah.
fucking using everything. It's super heavy, super strong, whatever. Everyone fucking uses that shit. Every once in a while, you go to Home Depot, they might have some maple. Now, maple can look fucking cool because there's like different kinds of maple depending on like if it gets fucking fungal infections, if it gets fucking bugs or whatever eaten in there and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, bug. Yeah. But yeah, that's a total fucking inside joke. Sorry. But yeah, and then fucking there's one that's called curly maple, and curly maple is like it's just got this like fucking it's just got this like waviness across the grain along the whole thing that the light reflects, and it's fucking crazy. It looks beautiful,
Hmm.
and it's like more expensive than normal maple, but Home Depot doesn't fucking pay attention to that. So
Yeah.
they're like, we got maple, and then they just throw it all in there. And I was like literally in Home Depot with her. This is like the 5th Home Depot I've been to like the past 2 weeks. And I'm like, let's see if this one has anything more. Because people are like, it's kind of random. They might have some more shit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck, this one's got maple. And I'm telling her, I was like, yeah, sometimes you just look through the maple and there might be just like bird's eye because I don't realize it. And I flipped over. I was like, holy fuck, this is bird's eye maple.
Holy shit.
This is a 10-foot board. So I fucking go to the guy. I was like, I need to cut this up right away. Like, I need to get it so it fits in my car.
Yeah.
And she was like, holy shit. And I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And I got it for like $35 if I want to get that anywhere. It's like $100 for all that. And I was
Wow.
like, it's just, if you fucking look it up.
These minimum wage kids have no idea what they're doing. They got gold on their hands.
Yeah, dude, you look at this maple and it's just, because like it's got the normal grain,
Mhm.
but then across it's just got these like, because like the theory that my neighbor who works across, because he was like, he works at a sawmill and he's like, people don't really know what the curl like how that happens.
Mhm.
And he's like, my theory is it's from like movement where there's like a branch causes a bunch of shaking and compressing of the wood.
Mhm.
And it's like compressing and it looks like the wood is just wavy and it's like almost got like a leopard,
Print to it.
yeah, or like a tiger print or something. It's just fucking, and then it's just the light hits it, so it's like some spots are a little brighter and it's fucking crazy good. So
It's really interesting, actually.
but other
Yeah.
than that, walnut is my other favorite wood, dude, just because it's so dark. He's got a walnut desk and he was asking
Walnut's
me
good
about it.
shit.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
it.
all I know.
Yeah, walnut's where it's at too. I bought a walnut board.
You'll have to educate me on this the next time I show up at Mr. Marshall's his private shop, that I don't look like such an idiot.
You're just gonna come with like quality board next time.
Yeah.
Just be like, damn.
He's gonna be like, wow,
Is that-
this is really
Is
cool.
that bird's eye maple?
Holy shit, we stepped it up this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow,
that'd
it's
be
a nice
awesome.
chatty you got there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, thank you guys for being on, man. I really appreciate having both of you guys here. It's always good. It's always good to catch up with you, Dylan and Jordan. It's been a long time, so I'm
Yes,
glad to
sir.
see you, man.
It's good to
And
be here.
I know you're not going to be here long, but I'm happy. I'm happy you're back in Wisconsin for a little bit, even though Cali is definitely much more appealing.
That's okay. It's good to be here. Good people are here. That's the important thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Very fair.
I'll come back on, dude.
Yeah,
If you
let's
find an
do it.
excuse for me to be on here, I'll
Dude,
fucking be
same.
on here.
absolutely.
Same. If I come back, I'm more than happy.
Let's
to
do,
it
dude.
again.
Let's do it. I know Jonathan and I were joking about having all of us on.
We
and
should.
I'm getting
totally
That'd be
down.
great.
I'm getting a different mixer, and we're getting like 4 microphones, so
Nice.
we won't have to do the whole passing. They'll be just set up here. So.
Yeah,
That works, yeah.
I'm moving to Colorado soon,
Oh shit.
so I'll be back for like Christmas and
Yeah,
shit.
holidays
But
I'll be here as well.
Okay.
probably August, late August, I'd assume. Depends on
Okay.
whenever I get the all. I got a job, so whenever I get the all clear and the offices open up is when I'm heading out
Okay.
there.
Damn, dude. Because I'm booked until literally August. Actually, I might have an opening in August. One opening though, because
We shall see. If
we
there's
booked
anyone
up.
where you're like, this guy needs a side host,
Wingman.
co-host.
Yeah.
He's a wingman.
Yeah.
Someone I know or
Somebody's
something.
kind of being chill. No, we got some interesting cats coming up, some
Hell yeah.
weirdos. But that's what's great about podcasting. So you can have the weird people on, and I can also have insanely talented people
He's
on
got
like you
Alex
guys.
Jones coming on. And
Dude, that would be sick. Man.
But yeah,
would-
since I fucking last been here, dude, I'm now a fully employed aerospace engineer. So
dude, congratulations.
getting-
You can now
getting
say
that big boy money.
you can say
It's not rocket science, bro.
exactly.
It's not
It's
rocket
not
science.
rocket science. Wow, dude, that's fucking awesome. Full circle here on the
There
show.
we go, yeah,
That's
so-
what we're all about.
That's man shit.
No, I appreciate you guys being on. McKenna, you want to throw up the patrons real quick? I just want to say thank you to everybody who's supporting the show, helping us
Thank you.
do what we do. Donating me cash so I can talk shit every week with homies like these guys.
Yeah, give him
Um,
cash so I can keep coming back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't even need to
Exactly.
give me cash. Just give it
And
to him.
then I also want to say big shout out again to Kenosha Auto Insurance for sponsoring this episode. First sponsored
Oh, and
episode.
he's got sponsors.
First
Let's
sponsored
go.
episode. Yeah,
Yo,
so-
we're sorry if we fucking said some shit that
Yeah.
makes you want to not sponsor us.
No, they know what the show's
we'll take
about.
full accountability for anything.
Yeah, we
Not
do not.
sponsor
We do
worthy.
not
Yeah.
represent the views of
The caster.
Yeah, exactly.
Kenosha
Auto
Yeah,
insurance. Yeah, exactly. They know. They know that this is ridiculous. That
Ah,
I'm
cool,
usually
cool.
uninformed and just spouting nonsense.
Was it
so-
car insurance?
Yeah. car
Okay.
insurance,
yeah.
yeah. So we're good. We're good. They can actually, they're not getting paid to say this, but they can do some shit. They can work some numbers for you.
Hell yeah.
So they
Hell yeah.
really can. What else did I have to say? I had something else, but whatever. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been episode 53 of the Detox Podcast.